Right, now I'm live, but not live on YouTube yet till 8 o'clock. Oh, I am. Right, sorry guys if you can hear this. I'm just trying to sort something out. No, that's telling me there that they're not on. And it won't let me remove them.
They're gone.
They're gone?
They're gone.
Oh, thank fuck for that.
So we spent 20 minutes trying to get rid of the hearts on the live.
Right, now it won't take me back to the stream. Oh, it has.
Nope, they're there again.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Nope. Nope, they're gone. Oh, I don't know. They're gone again.
They've gone again? Right.
Yeah. And they're back. Somebody's playing. I don't know.
Okay, right. Let's go to...
Yeah, they've come.
It might be where it's picking up, where I'm clicking them backwards and forwards.
No, it's Molly's clicking them to prove they're still there. Leave them alone.
Right, well.
And she turned it purple.
All right, I'm trying to concentrate here. Can you just talk in the chat for a minute, please? Right, I've actually got to go to the stream. No. Sorry about this, guys. But I don't want them bloody things there all night. Loop, show contents, inspect cast. No. Right, the only way I can get into that is in there, which doesn't come up in that one. Set up, help, no. Right.
And they've disappeared. No, they disappear and then they keep coming back.
Yeah, I don't know quite what I'm doing. Right, let me go to... what was it they said in Demolition Man? Let me go to 20th century. Right, let me put it over here so I can put it on full screen. I can see what the fuck I'm doing for a start. Right. Live stream. Now, if you can tell me what's happening as I go into things. Right. Live now. Stream. Is that going to go into that stream? No, it isn't. Oh, I hate that. Right, that one's telling me that there's... Where's my icons? Right, we need to go to there. I need to pick that stream. Aha. Aha. Right. We're in business. We're in fucking business. Hang on to your dangly bits, people. And fuck off. Okay. Right. Now I've just got to get back to my stream. Oh my God. Oh look, I'm still on fucking top chat as well. Do you know what? I was saying last week
You've had enough, you're calling it a day.
that Dan has more issues with me on the stream. I've just fucking proved him wrong. Right, hang on, guys. Now I'm up and running. I went up early because I was trying to get that sorted. Now I know how to do it. Oh.
Evening, Bob. We want. Should be. Right. Holly, of course. Good evening.
First of all, can someone tell me if my audio's okay, please? Can you keep an eye on that,
yeah.
darling? I'm going to go into the settings and check the mic levels and things. Boom, 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 boom. That'll come up over there. Recording.
Yeah, you're all good, love.
Levels. Mic was a bit low. Get rid of that. Right, we're into it, people. Good evening at last. Oh, Jesus, I've never had so much fun. Tina, Moo, Stuart, Holly, Wee One, James. Who else we got in here? Mrs. W, obviously, the lovely Mrs. W behind me there. Forever taking the crap when I get to Auntie with his computer stuff. Resist. Good evening. Kaz. Stuart B. Bleach Demon. Tina. Well, we got there, people. We got there. Welcome back again to Grumpy Old Git in the Corner. Obviously, I'm only doing a Sunday one because Dan's not able to at the moment. As you know, he's been having some time with his lads. Everything is going absolutely brilliantly, apparently. But he's he's had quite a time with them. And yeah, it's all going well. Hopefully he'll be back next week. If not, then I'll jump in again, I expect. Once I've learned how to fiddle another 20 hours out of StreamYard. But good evening to you all. I haven't got a clue what we're going to talk about tonight.
Life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah. Life, the universe, and whatever. I mean, there's plenty of news. I haven't been keeping up with a lot of it. I've been trying to just have a peaceful weekend, as it were.
Oh, can I shocker for you, James? Josh turned 18 yesterday.
Yes, James. Little Josh, 18 years old now he is. That's the eldest grandson. Josh, if you're watching, mate, I know sometimes your mum watches in the background there. Happy birthday for yesterday, buddy. Yeah, he's absolutely loving it, Wee One. Absolutely loving it. I think he met up with some old friends last night as well. So, as for how long we're going to keep going tonight, folks, I have no idea.
Till StreamYard cuts you off.
Well, I've got just around 4 hours left on the StreamYard, and they don't cut you off anyway. They just take it out your next allowance. But I've got 2 email addresses, so what the hell? But yeah, he's absolutely loving it, Wee One. Every time I've spoke to him, he's been over the moon. But yeah, keep him going tonight. I always say about 10 o'clock, or I did last week. As those of you that were watching Friday know, my voice started to go and it's not feeling too clever now, but we'll see how long we last. I mean, tonight is all about you guys. You know, if you want to chat amongst yourselves, or you can just sit and listen to me waffle on, really. And there will be plenty of it.
Evening, Tony.
Where are we at? I just don't know what I'm doing tonight. I just can't control the buttons. Tony, good evening, mate. So what's been happening in your worlds out there? That's what I want to hear. You know, I have got notes here, but it's stuff that I'd put in a video, and I'm not going to bore you all by like doing a daily video. But some of the stuff have been coming out now, you know, like the EVs, a lot of them are being cancelled. Manufacturers just ain't selling them. I've heard a couple of manufacturers are actually stopping making them. They've got too many stocks and they're just not selling. News for last night. It's not. Oh, you're telling me that now? Thank you. I ain't moving. I'm going to be in my corner.
Ben and Carrie coming as well.
Oh, well. She does like to throw these things at me.
Well, you know, it's either 7 or 9 every year.
Well, yeah. I'm just having a look, see what else I've got. Because I'm totally unprepared for tonight. I'll be honest. I mean, yeah, they're going back to the EVs. You know, they're going to be stopping charging them in covered areas. You won't be allowed to park them in covered areas. Even if you've got your own garage, it will be against the law if you've got your charger in there. And I think it'll end up that you're not allowed to charge them within a certain distance of a building. Here we go, buffering Stuart. Yeah, YouTube's not at its best at the moment, I must admit. Yeah, that's what it's like round here, Ollie. When the family get together, I mean, that's not all the family. I mean, if Heather's brother and his missus turn up as well, and
There's going to be a few at the wedding.
Evening Paranormal Channel.
Everybody's going to be at the wedding.
Yeah, Kaz. I mean, I don't know what YouTube are up to. I've been getting messed around by Facebook at the minute. You know what they're like when you click off a genre, block a certain type of video or post because you don't want to see it. They double it, and the second time you do it, they quadruple it. And I just reported them for fucking spamming now.
No, 23 on my side.
Well, yeah.
And I'm bound to have missed somebody out. Stephen, 27. Yeah.
Well, there you go. We ain't got room for them all unless they want to sit in the gardens. So.
That's 26.
And of course, this week, Pfizer have been in the news, along with Moderna. It would seem that, yeah, obviously they're losing a lot of money. Evening, Lodger. But the uptake in America at the moment is around 2 to 3% of the population on the latest offering. Yeah, what does that tell you? And they've done it to themselves. All they've done is actually come out and confirmed what we've been saying all along anyway. Evening, Phil. Hope you're good, mate. Yeah, not too bad here. A little bit tired, obviously. I wasn't expecting all this intense treatment from the hospital so quick, to be honest. And it's hit me twice as hard as the last round. But once the blood settles down again to an even level and they find the levels that they've got to take, then that should get a bit better. But it has caused a lot of trouble with my legs and that again. Yes, James, that's another issue as well. The insurance now. Personally, I've never left anything on charge unsupervised, especially if they've got a lithium battery or anything like that in. As you know, I had a pouch for charging up me model plane ones. That was a fireproof pouch. At least it gave you a chance to get the thing out of the building. But yeah, I'd never allow scooters and that to be left on charge in the house, and I wouldn't even allow them being charged without being watched either. And cars are going the same way.
Yeah. There's been too many incidents.
You know, I mean, there are insurance companies now that are actually refusing to insure them, but if they do, they're banging them way up on the premiums. Good evening, Loafer. Sorry, mate, didn't see you come in there. Yeah.
Yeah, but if the landlord's aware he's doing it now, he's got to be careful.
Yeah.
Got to be careful.
But the thing is, you've got electric leads running outside here, there, and everywhere. If you live in a bad area, they ain't going to last long, are they? I mean, I did look into it. I did a conversion. Who was it for?
What?
Craig, wasn't it? I did that conversion, the
Oh,
electric
Craig,
bike
yeah.
conversion for him. It was a basic one, just a normal front wheel on a hardtail. Yeah, it was interesting to ride, to say the least. No, evening crafts. Sorry, I didn't see you there. Yeah, it was a legal 15 mile an hour thing. I presume it would still be legal now because it was running on pedal assist as well as a thumb thing. So it was a genuine electric cycle, not an electric bike. Blitzer, good evening. Yeah, but I mean, even now it's whether I could ride one of them. You can get big, expensive dirt versions, but I'd probably hurt myself even more. Oh my God. Oh, sorry. We've got Men in Black on the telly. Yeah, James, exactly. This is what I've been saying all along, mate. I will put the link up to the panel in a bit, people. They're pushing everything electric, and they can't even build new homes now because they can't put the infrastructure in where they're building the homes and that, because the grid won't take it there, what they want to draw from it. And unless they do the whole grid, upgrade the whole grid, I mean overground and underground cables, it ain't going to happen. And then they've got to produce enough for the demand, which I don't think they'll be able to do. Sleeping in a weird position on that. And it's the same with the water boards at the moment. You look at them bleating this weekend. Oh, we need more money. We need more money. You know, the system hasn't been upgraded since the Victorians built it. Well, what the fuck you been doing with the money we've been paying since the Victorian era? You know, you've had enough money. There's too many of these utility companies that do things like this. They'll take the money for everything and then they'll give nothing back. Good evening, Gary. No, it can't paranormal X, and that's the trouble. And the thing is now, or I don't go on about what's going on out in the East, but now we have got what I would call genuine refugees being brought out of a war-torn area. And we ain't got room for them. And we ain't got the money to keep them because we're keeping the ones that have come here illegally that shouldn't be here. They've come here falsely. Now, if all that money we'd been spending on them was still in the pot, then yes, these are genuine refugees, even if we take them for a while and then send them back when everything settles down again out there, whatever. But we can't because we ain't got the money. Oh, I forgot that thing was still running across the bottom as well. Sorry about that, people.
Sorry. Can leave it there.
I got to admit, most people that come in my streams, they're polite, respectful. Those that aren't have learned that they don't last long.
Gonna set up a new profile.
But I don't even know why I'm watching that. I've watched it so many times over the years. And I do follow the Grand Prix, not so much now because it's not about the race and the. I haven't seen the results today. I mean, I wouldn't wear me anyway, but the replay's on at 1 o'clock, so I ain't going to stay up long enough to see that. I can guarantee it. James M, good evening. Mickey Mouse, all right, buddy?
Hello, James M. Mickey Mouse, hiya.
More and more people dropping in. The banner across the top and there, Topham? Yeah, no all capitals in the chat, please, people. The bots do flag them up, and YouTube does as well. Mickey Mouse does get a free pass. We've known for a long, long time that he has sight issues, so he gets a free pass on that, and fair enough. Jack, good evening, buddy. Stream spam likes. I don't honestly, paranormal. There are people that go on perhaps streams that I don't think like me. They don't like the way I come across and things like that, which is absolutely fine. I haven't got a problem with that if they don't want to come over and watch. Literally, as it says in the description, why Pap hasn't been streaming, he just asked if I'd like to put a stream up so you guys that want to come and chat or listen to me talk bollocks or drop in the panel in a minute when I open that, you've got somewhere to come on a Sunday night because, you know, your regulars smashing it in Warzone. I don't do any games, James. I'm not a gamer person. I mean, the one to talk to about that is young Jack there. He's a bit of a gamer.
There you go. Palmer's watched the Fables.
Hang on, I'm just putting this up. James. Yeah, James, you've got to have a real sort of weird sense of humour to get enjoyment. But it is so funny when you look in the background. It's all about what's going in the background and picking out the scenes where you can tell that from like old horror films, right, Jack?
It's me. It's not fake.
No, I'm
real.
pretty good at looking, and I've always got my finger right over the button, mate. Even with those that I know.
I was just about to say, speak of the devil, as you mentioned, games.
No, but that's what I said. There's only a couple of people in here, I expect, that do gaming, and I don't do it. It doesn't do anything for me. So
a lot of the time, it's very toxic.
Yeah,
gaming.
yeah.
To be honest,
I believe
everywhere you go, it's very toxic.
It's part of the thing that they're using to actually brainwash the young uns today.
Yeah,
I mean, we never had anything with violence like that on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying Sheffield Steelers pulled up. What was that, Gary?
Do you know what? Right, I've had lots of debates with people in the past about why violent games, or basically games with violence in them, it can not just not just mentally affect, well, children, teenagers, whatever, because we've seen videos in America mainly where teenagers, young teenagers, will go out stealing cars, and then they'll get into pursuits with police, and there'll be like the helicopter camera, and it's like live news feeds or whatever. And some of them are like teenagers doing that, and what inspired them to do that was Grand Theft Auto. I'm not saying that Grand Theft Auto, you get what I mean? It's not like it's their fault per se, but they're getting.
Hang on, Jack. Gary, yeah, is that the one? It happened quite a while back. There is a video out of that.
No, it's a recent one.
It's a recent one. It's another one then. There was another one that happened to in America. Fucking hell. I said they'll ban ice hockey now, won't they?
No, they make them wear a scarf.
Do you want to put yourself on camera, Simon, just for a sec, mate? God bless. Put yourself on camera.
Yeah, don't make us look at
Yeah.
him now.
Sorry, Simon.
A lot of the time, Roger, at least I've been doing gaming since I was fairly young. We're talking at least maybe 12 years of age. Seeing how bad it's got over the years growing up, right? Seeing what people say on the internet, how disrespectful they are, and all the different words and phrases that people
Jack,
use nowadays.
this is what this new online safety bill is supposed to be stopping.
Right.
Now, apparently, someone said it's already in effect.
Okay.
Nick from Bernie using a pass, checking in.
So what is it supposed to monitor? What people on the internet say, what they can and can't say, and lots of other things.
It's any harmful content,
Right.
anything like that. It should be blocking.
Yeah.
Wolfie Mum, good evening. Yeah, and it's already. Simon, can you turn your camera on, mate? With what's been going on lately, I can't just rely on your avatar in the back room there, mate. Sorry about that. Oh, Jack did have his camera on, and I saw him reacting to what I was saying, so I knew it was him.
Yeah.
But with what's been going on at the moment,
I mean, even Dan, one of his, I'm not sure how long ago, but even it was unexpected. Someone came on that looked legit, but they weren't really responding to anything that was being said. They came on and they porn bombed. It was a woman. I think they were dressed up or something. I don't know, but
give us, twist your hat to the left.
Oh, has he got that
There you
fucking
go.
Trump hat on?
Sorry, mate. With what's been going on, we've got to do it now.
Good evening.
Good evening, buddy.
Oh,
Hello,
yeah, I
Simon.
know. It's been a bit bad. I was on that live stream with MK on the cut when that fucking prick did his disgusting stuff.
Well, didn't you see what happened to Mark Cully?
Yes, I just said MK on the cut.
Oh, you was on that. That was
That's
the
what
one. Yeah.
Do you know what? I haven't been on panels for ages, right? And I don't know. I just one of those nights. I thought, fuck it. And yeah, I was there, and we was all up there. Active was up there, Base Welsh, but loads of people. And then I told Mark, please don't let him up. Please don't let him up.
did he get himself banned?
Yeah,
Mark Kelly got pulled down for it.
Yeah, because
Wow.
what it was, right? I mean, look, people Pornhub, they Pornhub, but this porn bum rather, this stuff he put on was sick. Now the thing is, right? If he's finding stuff that sick, why aren't the police involved? There's something that guy's got something fucking bad with mental health.
It's not the K guy, is it? It's not him, is it?
Crinkle, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, the other thing is though, now if you're running a channel for those sort of people, which Mark does, he lets them in there, lets them argue and what have you for the views.
Mhm.
There's other channels that do it, not just this.
Yeah.
Now, if you've even got the possibility of someone like that in there, you don't walk away from your camera and leave your computer unattended for 6 minutes.
I was screaming. I was screaming. I was screaming. Oh, no, let's, sorry.
Yeah, that's just committing YouTube suicide, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
so wait, so he was putting Crinkle was putting gory stuff, or sorry, porn stuff.
Yeah, it's
On-
seen Mark leave the camera,
Leaves
so
me
he
to
knew
say
there
that.
was nobody in control of the stream.
The
Right,
police haven't got
okay.
hold of him yet. I mean,
And
fuck.
Mark was away for 6 minutes, so there
Yeah.
was 6 minutes continuous of porn bombing.
Yeah, it wasn't that. But look, I don't mind a bit. This wasn't nice stuff.
I think your
Was
mic's
you-
breaking up there,
Was you
Simon.
trying to say you don't like a bit? You like a bit? I don't mind a bit of porn. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, shaven balls at least, Jack.
Hey, I've not mentioned it this time, so you got
Yeah,
to give
but
me
you
some
was
credit
leading
there.
to it. You was leading me.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I knew you were trying to say, but your microphone was actually helping you out because you keep cutting out.
Yeah,
Alright.
it sounded like Norman Collier.
Even though we're in chat, got some nice people in the chat tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I covered for Dan last week as well, just giving the guys somewhere to come, like, because he's not streaming.
Yeah, I mean, I got the message from
it's
Dan.
the best viewings I've had, you know.
I got the message from Dan, but only after I had a little bit of a appetite enhancer. And I sat down. I thought I'd come back in a little while. I sat down, had my food, and I got really shivery and cold. So yeah, it's nice to see everyone in there.
Define
yeah, I mean-
appetite enhancer.
It's going to be the same as the Friday streams and the same as Dan's streams. There's going to be people in the back there listening, thinking, well, you know, is he going to say anything about us or this, that, and the other? So I tend to stay away from them, don't talk about them.
There's
And you
only
don't
really
feel
one
them, you know?
difference between Friday and today when you're doing it for Dan instead. The times are different. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Different
That's
people
really
are
what it is.
available.
This is the thing. I never know.
Shit, hang on a minute. What's going on here? Hang on a minute. Sorry.
What are you doing, Simon?
I just opened up on the page. I just see that you're on 499 subscribers still.
Yeah, it did go up to 500, but
Let me just see if I can rectify that.
I was just about to say, if you got to 500, then you'd be then you'd be able to get monetized. But that's not how it works because you need
you've got to get a certain amount of viewing time, mate, as well.
Yeah, it's watch hours.
Yeah.
every
I'm-
365 days. Yeah.
Hang on. Let's have a look now. Let's have a look. Hang on a minute. Let me just do a refresh.
I
Trying
can't
to think,
see me.
I
I
know-
can't see me analytics.
Yeah, 501. I've done it.
To
Yeah,
get fully.
That could be the same.
You've
as I was
not
saying
using my
before,
second account.
The lurkers in the background watch it go up and sub, and then at the end of the stream they leave it up for a day and then click off again.
I think to
Hang on a
get fully.
minute. How rude of me. Good evening, Mrs. W.
Good evening, good looking.
Oh, she's only it's because Dan in here. Look, that's all it is, mate. Don't
You've
worry
been there
about
already.
Simon's gorgeous.
it. Don't take offence to it.
I'm just a dirty flirt. Leave me alone.
Oh my God, what have I stepped into?
Yeah, what we said. To get fully monetized, I think it's 1,000 subscribers, and I'm not sure how many hours you need, how many watch hours you need. But I know that they basically cut it in half for the, to get 500 subscribers. They've cut all that stuff in half, so you don't.
What it was originally, I wanted 500 so I could go live. Because back then you had to have 500 to even go live from your computer.
Oh,
They did away with that So basically, you could go live at any time from as long as it's from a landline based or computer at home, desktop.
Mhm.
You can't do live streaming walking around. Then they brought in you got to have 1,000 subs before you can go live. It didn't matter on your viewing hours, but you needed 1,000 subs to go live away from the computer, as I call it. Now, whether they've changed that around or not, I don't know. But as you know, I've always said I don't want to monetize. I never will. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to have a voice. And it turned. I didn't even start in it to make friends like you guys.
Mhm.
I started out to have a voice when I used to be on Dan's channel originally.
I knew you'd say that, to have a voice, 'cause that's exactly how I see your channel.
Yeah. Everybody's had opinions and views on things. And then I'll be honest, at the beginning, a lot of the things I've looked into and put out there, I knew nothing about. Like, I very rarely dove into politics. I've never needed it. I've never bothered about it. But the last few years, it has been affecting drastically how my life goes. So I take it my time to look. And I didn't like what I was seeing. I didn't like what the police were turning into. And I decided, right, I'm going to have my say on it and get my opinions on it out there. Because the only way we're going to get anything done about it, is everybody get together and have one big voice, which at the moment we haven't got. There's other voices that are bigger, as we've seen, unfortunately.
And may I take this opportunity to publicly apologise to you for neglecting you of late? It's nothing personal.
No problem, mate.
I've had to take a step back from YouTube a little bit.
Not a problem, mate. I mean,
like that.
Your mic is breaking up there at times.
I think it's your internet more than anything, Simon.
It's like Dan. He takes a step back when he's got things to do or stuff going. I've done it myself, mate. Sometimes there's circumstances, for whatever reason, that you do need to.
Yeah. It's
whether it's personal, whatever.
It takes your life a little bit too much sometimes. I mean, look, we're still all comrades and we're there for each other when we need each other. Like, if you message me and say, look, fuck me, help. And Dan as well, we have got a really good, strong community. When the alert button is pressed, then we all come together.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the reasons...
It's like I've never...
Internet.
What I call publicize the channel. When I've made a video, I'll put it on Facebook, on my Facebook page. If people look at it, fine. I should put it on my community page as well, but I don't bother because most of the people that are going to watch the video are looking for a video anyway. So I've always been of the thing, right? Yeah, if someone wants to watch, come and listen. The lives are totally different than what I do in my videos, obviously. And it's up to them if they want to subscribe and they want to run around, see some more. I'm not like, oh, come and sub, come and sub, come and sub. I leave it up to people to make their own choices. I don't like to push them either way.
I mean, I've been just mainly taking a step back, and I've been on the internet and everything, but I'm just looking at what's going on, like with the protests in London and Bristol today and Birmingham. I'm fucking concerned, big time.
Yes, a lot of people are, mate, and a lot of people are, and it's a bit late, but it is opening a lot of other people's eyes as well that are seeing it. But I think, honestly, I think it's too late.
I think so as well. I just don't know. I'm just wondering if, like, the football lads and all those, like, I know it's a bad thing to say that originally that their intentions were good, like people like the EDL and stuff like that. I think that, the Lion in United Kingdom is about to be released, because we just cannot let this happen. No fucking way. The
police are terrified. They're not fucking doing a thing.
Shit scared. They're shit scared.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I said that the other week. Evening, Sean. Yeah, I said that openly in a video the other week. You could see them down the back streets, all sat in the vans.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to take the stream down in that direction, but you know, I mean, like the river to the sea. That is an absolute hate chant. It means annihilation.
I knew you
And-
reacted to that.
I mean,
Yeah.
and there's another one as Mahia or something. That's another genocide chant, and the police are just stepping back. And I watched the mayor. Tina, hello.
Hello, darling.
Mayor,
Dictator
Jack.
Carnage Khan.
You're right, Tina. The way you just said that, Simon, that sounded a bit weird then. Yeah, hello.
is really good. Look at his channel after
Hello.
the stream.
Jason, good evening, mate. Yeah, I mean, what's this bullshit now starting a fucking Islam party in the government?
Yes, I saw that. You saw me post it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, that is fucking
Oh.
terrifying. Come on, cannot anyone not see that the Islamification, the caliphate? That look, I'm not being horrible or racist. Well, a religion is not a race for starters. So anybody wants to report this, yeah, try because it's not. But you can see what is going on. I used to go to a mosque with a mate of mine. About 20 years ago, just to see because I was curious, and I've seen what I've seen, and I'm telling you what, mate. There's another guy that's shown. It seems like, I know it sounds all bizarre. I put a post on Facebook. I'll do it again. It seems like, and I can't disagree with this guy that brought out as evidence. I mean, factual evidence that the Catholics started Islam, and they control Islam. And you must be thinking I'm a fucking conspiracist. I'm a conspiracist, but I looked into this video and I thought, fuck me. Everything he showed, you know, dating back to the Egyptians about the half moon crescent, and it links to Baal and all that kind of stuff. Wow.
Well, the thing is now you got the
Stuff
government
with
the
you
police.
guys. Things I've seen are starting to make me worried. I just want to go
No,
back to 1980.
Simon, it's not an issue because I've been saying it for the last week or two on my videos that it's gone too far now. We've lost our opportunity to really fight back. You know, it's becoming in London, especially. It's becoming a crime to be a Britishman, an Englishman on the streets.
Yeah,
Can I put my piece in, please, Roger?
Yeah,
Well,
go on, Jane.
You can hear me, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Before you start, team, can you see the chat if anybody says anything?
No.
No, okay, I'll relay anything. They're saying good evening, so.
Oh, good evening, everybody. Sorry. No, I've still not got my computers. The computers that have gone with Windows 10, they've basically been discarded. Everything's been destroyed, stripped down, whatever. I got some new ones to put up. I just got myself a bargain. I got a Nova S Core gaming machine with its monitor, keyboard, and mouse for £239 off of Amazon. They're doing reconditioned equipment, and it's brand new. They've replaced everything. It's got gaming stuff in it, everything. It's an i7, 249 quid. That's not bad, is it?
You will actually find now.
And it lights up.
I'm seeing a pattern in this that there is a lot of second-hand stuff that is being reconditioned and selling out through proper outlets.
Yes.
A lot cheaper.
Amazon's policy is to stop the massive amount of computers being dumped on landfill. They've made it quite clear that they want to stop
they're
it.
making them cheaper to make sure the people that can't afford them have got them.
Well, it's a bloody good deal. I paid $290
online and everything is covered. Everybody will have a computer because they'll be cheap.
Because this one is
down and down.
Yeah, this is really good. It came up complete, although the monitor for 19 inches is a bit small. So I went back to Amazon. I got myself a 29-inch curved computer, a curved monitor, and that was £88.36. And I was like, wow. And they do warranties on it for up to 5 years.
Well, mine came even better. The computer was built and given to me. The screens.
I've got towers to go up, but I'm waiting for, I got to strip the room down, get carpet or vinyl put down in here on the floor. Then I got a specialist company coming in to build all of my units in my room, which is happening in the new year. It's going to cost me about 5k, but I'm literally building a studio in this room.
There you go, Gary. Yes, exactly, mate. Sorry, Tim.
What?
Is there anyone I've ever heard complain about 19
I'll be back in just a moment, Roger.
All right, Jack. Because I'm trying to stand in for Jack. All I'm doing is giving people a place to
hear
come. So I'm
me?
trying to
I'm gonna just
concentrate a bit more on the chat. Because
Yeah, I'll just sit back in a sec.
tonight, so everybody's got somewhere to come and talk.
What did you say? What did you say, Simon?
His
Sorry?
mic's out.
It's what?
His mic's in and out a bit.
Oh, right, okay, I'll get that later. Hey, oh, Jack's gone as well.
Yeah, he said he was going to drop down for a bit.
Right, okay. Yeah, it's a really good way, and I agree with it, because if you go to Curry's, which I freaking hate, that company is so backwards in its ways. It's got i3s for sale and i5s, no higher, for $2,000.
There we go.
That's old. That's really old. That won't run any fucking system. You buy an i3 or an i5, it's not going to last very long.
Well, apparently this one, it's an old one, but it's been rebuilt.
Yeah, that's what you need. I've got a 4-foot tower. I've got a 4-foot tower given to me by a friend of mine.
Probably $1.5 grand, $2 worth.
Yeah, mine's about $3 worth, and it's all that's wrong with it is I've got to put a new gaming card in it, which I've already got. He sent down the gaming card as well.
Graphics
All I've got to do is put the new gaming card in. They're what's it, Radian or I don't know.
Play games, so.
Well, it's good to have.
It'll probably be an AMD or Nvidia, one of the two.
Nvidia, that's the one.
You can get Intel as well, but
yeah, it's an Nvidia. But the specs on that
one,
that one's an i9, so that's going to come up on the desk. So, but I've got to get this room built before we can go any further. Huh?
The thing is though, with i9s, they're very, very heat. They produce a lot of heat.
Yeah, they're water cooled. This is water cooled. It's got water cooling system built in.
Okay, that's good then. That's good.
But the Nova Core that I've just built has also got water cooling in for 239 quid. You know, so it's got an open panel with all the lights on it, funky lights on the front, and it's like, ooh, I like the idea of this. So yeah.
So,
well, what does that one mean?
Now, right? And
everybody's a little consumer tonight. Yeah, it wasn't me. It's these two that went off on the tech thing, not me.
It's just I want something that can run Windows 11, so that's why I'm upgrading. This one's already got Windows 11 built in, because Windows 10 they're supposed to be running until 2024, but they're not. They're screwing everyone's computers up. So
Windows 11
I've had my computer for about 3 years and it's still running good. So
yeah, that's why they want everybody on Windows 11, because that's where they can put all the spyware.
Oh, I know, but I've got stuff that can stop that anyway. So
funny you say that. Actually, there are actually tools out there that you can install Windows 11 with all the bloatware and all the stuff that Windows Microsoft puts on your computer. You can install basically Windows without any of that crap on there. No Cortana, none of that stuff. And all you have the basic applications, but you don't have any of the crap. The adware that they put into the
they do put a lot of adware in, but I've got a particular program that I'm going to add to it once it's up, and then I can actually sort that out.
Intended to, Stuart.
Welcome back, Simon.
Thank you very much. I just had to do a little bit of thinking.
I personally use Malwarebytes anyway. That's what I use for
antivirus. And me, it's really good.
And thanks to my bank, they actually give me a free premium for like 3 years. So
wow,
yeah.
What bank's that?
And I only have to go back to the NatWest. I only have to go to the bank.
Bank of Balls.
Oh, go on.
Bank of Balls.
You have to go online, right? I only have to go online and get myself a new code after this one expires, and I'll just get myself another year, like for free. I won't have to pay a single penny. So that's the luxury of being with NatWest. But obviously, there are a lot more issues of NatWest that people are already aware of. I mean, lots of banks. It's not just NatWest. It's not like they're exclusive. No,
there's a lot of banks that do it. Yeah. So this is Islamic party story that you were talking about. Everyone says it's an Islamic. They're going to give themselves the name, the Islamic Party, yeah, but they're not. They're a subsidiary of what Islam is about. Because if you go into a mosque and you know people that are Muslim, like I do,
I will say this isn't Dan's channel, and we don't go into religion and here, sweetheart, on my channel.
Okay.
We don't go into it. I don't agree with a lot of it. I don't do religion. It bores the shit out of a lot of people. So
yes.
I don't. do it in the stream. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I don't believe what's in. I don't believe what's
I
in
know
the press.
you're dedicated, and yeah, it does. A lot of people in Dan's channel do the same, but in this one, we don't.
That's fine. Just wanted to
I'm
say.
very, very hard line, and I run my channel the way I want.
No problem, Don. It's your channel.
I would love to sit here and talk about cars. You know what I feel about that.
Oh yeah, yeah. You were talking about the electric car earlier, weren't you?
Yeah, because that's relevant to what's going on.
So what's this new law about the having to put it? They can't put it in a garage.
No, it's not law at the moment, but it's something that they're discussing.
Fire hazard.
Yes.
Oh, that's a load of rubbish. How many of them do you know that catch fire other than a Lexus?
Go and look at some of the videos from around the continent and here. You're not even seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, look at Luton. Was it Luton, the car park, airport car park?
Yep.
That was an electric car, wasn't it? It started it.
It was an electric car that started it. The fire brigade admitted that the fire protection and the firefighting equipment that was there, that the public used to try and put the fire out, had it been a regular car, they would have been able to put it out with those.
So
Even if the fire had continued like it did, what made it worse was other EVs that were parked in there. Once their batteries went up, and that's why the floors collapsed in like an explosion, not just a regular collapse through the the fire.
Well,
So
in my case,
trying to do is any rechargeable vehicle will not be allowed to be parked or charged in a covered area.
Well, it's the same with scooters with the lithium batteries. If you look at those and the problems with those, but the problem the government's got with those, it's very rare for those to catch fire, because if you've got a lithium battery in a wheelchair and you've got wheelchair access and you're allowed to take your wheelchair indoors and you've got a similar battery to your scooter, how is it they're not scared about the electric wheelchairs, but they're scared about the electric scooters?
You've got to think, and they rightly so, they did mention it and they did show it. Yes, Simon. When people buy these things, they don't look at where they come from. They don't. That's why you should go to that's why you should go to Motability and not go to the Chinese imports. And they'll buy extra length batteries, they'll buy extra chargers, which are all unfit for purpose. They're mismatched.
Well, if you
even try and charge one of these,
they get hot.
Charger, and you'll get the same result.
Well, most of the fires in my area that's been caused with scooters is people putting them outside and then having several extension leads plugged in. And that's like, no, that is a fire hazard. So in my case, once I get it, the council are going to put in a high safety standard scooter charger outside because it's going into a shed. Well, not a shed, but a cover. It's called the armadillo. It folds open, but it locks down, so it can't be nicked.
Yeah, it's like a metal thing that they.
That's right. It's a frame. Yeah.
It's a flame-proof container.
Yeah, and it's waterproof as well. So it's going to go in there, but I'm also going to get a fold-up electric wheelchair when I don't have to go very far, like down to doctors or whatever. So because the actual scooter I'm getting does up to 45 miles on one charge.
Yeah. I mean,
a few years ago,
my mate's got his unit where I used to work on the cars up there with him. He's got a milkman in the unit next door to him because he's not happy because obviously overnight he leaves 3 vans in there on charge for the milk rounds the next day.
But they never used to have fires, the old milkmans, did they?
Yeah, it's different.
But it's different batteries. They were lead acid.
Ah, difference, right. Because I remember seeing those around when I was a kid. We've still got a service round here. It's milk and something, but they're so expensive. They charge like £2 for a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
I did have some.
And a pint of milk is nearly £1 with this milk. So I said, you could kiss my ass if I'm paying that.
Because they had rechargeable vehicles back in the 1913. I think it was. I thought I had some pictures of them here, but I haven't.
About 5 years ago, I changed because I repair things, as you know, bit of a geek, and I changed in a battery on a mobile phone, and when I was they're gummed inside. Once you get the phone open, the batteries are quite heavily gummed, and I thought I'd just lift it up with a screwdriver, and I pierced it accidentally. Fuck me!
Oh yeah, they go bang, don't they?
Oh my! I shit it. I thought my house was gonna go on fire. It was like a wow. It's like a firework with the flames that is shooting out this little
Yeah.
tiny hole.
What do you mean taking the batteries out? I just flick that out and it's go.
The thing is, with the newer ones, you can't just take the back off. And
Keep
take
your
the
eye
batteries
on
out.
that, Jack, because the manufacturers have to build them now, where the person who buys them can replace the battery. It's a
Yeah,
new
that was-
legislation
yeah.
No,
coming in.
yeah, you
Yeah.
probably you can replace them, but it's just like with the
No,
older ones. where
they're
you can
not
just
allowed
take
to
them.
glue the back down or anything like that. It's got to be serviceable.
No, I agree with you. I agree that you can replace the batteries, yeah, but on older phones, you could, like you've just done, you could take the back off and you can take the battery out. Whereas
Yeah.
you can, like, it's obviously socketed. It's socketed in via not a connection. You know what I mean? It's those little
Yeah,
prong
it's
things
just
that go
three
in and allow the
connections,
battery
yeah.
to work.
There's little clips,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what
it's
they're
not
going
the
to have to
same.
put in the new
Yeah.
ones under this new legislation.
That's where iPhones
Right.
were taken to court by a 16-year-old lad in America. He was restoring and repairing student iPhones because they couldn't afford to buy another one or pay the iPhone fees. It was years ago now. And that lad was great. And he took them to court and he said, you are charging for someone to have a new battery replacement on an iPhone up to $1,000. He said, I can get a battery and put it into that iPhone by stripping it down. They tried to charge him with copyrights or something. Apple lost their case. This lad won his case to do repairs. And the judge said, like you did, Roger, it is unfair that an individual buys a phone and they can't take the battery out. It is unfair.
Evening, Beardy. Yes, it was the 1800s was the first one.
Yeah.
And they started this with the white goods, the household
Mm.
white goods.
Yep.
Because they would say, right, okay, machines are breaking down and starting to need repairs and service after only a year, which they're designed to last that long for that purpose.
Yeah.
And that's why they force the manufacturers to make the lifespan longer.
Yes. They've done the same. They've done the same with televisions, washing machines.
Yeah.
That came in last year, so they now have to ensure there are parts available for your products up to 10 years.
The other one they bought in was the charging ports.
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
They've all got to be the same.
Well, that's why I've gone to mobility to get my scooter, because if anything does go wrong with it, then they've got to sort it out. So they've got to maintain it. They've got to do servicing on it. So don't buy one off eBay, for God's sake, people. Just don't. Okay.
Point of sale.
Yeah. Yes, Furq. Simon at History Debunked. I haven't got a link for him actually. I can't remember if I put it in my videos. I must do.
He's good at me.
He puts things in a way. I mean, the Rev Sideways described him perfectly. He's a word assassin. He'll use words to assassinate you. And he'll put things in a way that will make you think from a different angle, shall I say.
Yeah, that's what it's about, learning.
And he's so dry with it. I've got a feeling, I don't know whether you agree, Simon, I reckon he's an ex-teacher.
He's good, though, isn't he? He's good.
Absolutely brilliant, mate. Brilliant. He's got so many haters because of some of the things he says.
Yeah, but it's true.
Yes, and the way he puts
you can't argue with him.
I mean, I've never come across anybody on here who's articulate as he is.
Mm.
Richard Vobes is close, but he hadn't got a patch on.
Nah, see, history does it. He's the king.
Sounds like a teacher then, that's definite. If he's got that demeanour, it does sound like it.
Yeah,
he's
you
nice
want to
guy.
watch him. History Debunked, his channel's called.
Nice. I think I've seen a few videos.
Oh, dear.
How's Dan doing? Anybody know? Is he okay?
Yeah,
he's good.
I speak to him and Holly does as well. We've been in touch with him more or less on a daily basis. He's absolutely fine. He's been having an absolute great time with the lads.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful.
It's even gone further than that, I think he's got involved and met some more of the family or something. But he'll
Yes,
tell
good.
them about that anyway. He's met up with some of his mates. They went out for a beer last night.
Oh, that's great. That's absolutely fantastic. It's
plus-
just a journey. It's a journey that none of us like to take when there's family
Yeah.
disputes. But it's something. He's not seen them for such a long time, and they're grown men now. They can make their own minds up. So
well, he wanted to come on tonight. He left it till late in the week to tell me, but it is taking it out of him.
yeah, it will.
It won't hit him until he gets back. He knows that. We
Well,
know
yeah, he's going to
That's
be
the way
stressed
that
out.
works.
It's a lot to deal with every day when you haven't seen someone for so long. So I did try and get my family to reunite many years ago when we lost my sister when she was 42, and they didn't want to know. So I said, "That's it. Don't knock on my door for anything." Of course, they've tried over the years. Oh, can I have some advice? No, fuck off. I told you ages ago. Don't come near me. So no.
The thing is with Dan, it won't worry him too much at the time, although he's absolutely knackered now. He went to sleep earlier, and I don't think he'll wake up to come on tonight, to be honest. And I don't blame him for even trying. He'll be absolutely fine with it. But then when he gets home and he sits there and thinks about what he's been doing, that's when the anxiety hits him.
Yeah, it
It's
will.
not
Yeah,
until after the event. He had the same when he went down to see the Rev.
right.
I know damn well he had the same after his party. You know, they were all out partying and what have you in the pub, meeting new people. And then the following days, oh, did I do that?
Yeah, yeah.
But he'll explain all that to you.
It's good. It's good that he's connecting because that's something he's wanted for a long time. So it's good they reached out. So,
well, it's nice as well because he suggested that, obviously on a Sunday I put the stream up when he doesn't. He said, the very worst, it can just help your viewings and your analytics and stuff, which it does.
yeah.
The very best.
Yeah, but I mean, me and Heather, our Sunday night is revolved around Dan's stream.
Yeah.
If we've got people here, it's like, I'm not being rude, but like it's 8 o'clock, fuck off.
That's one way of doing it, Roger.
No. It's 6:30. Fuck off. Because
Yeah.
at 7 o'clock, he's got to get ready for the live, and I don't want anybody else stressing him out. So
Yes, exactly, Mrs.
Even when
W.
the family here, 9 of them or whatever, next week,
that's
not
Christmas.
for Christmas. If they're here on a Sunday, they know that they're gone by 6:30.
Yeah, so it should be. It's everybody's enjoyment to come together like this,
Okay, well, I've only got half of the viewers that Dan normally gets in, but they're viewers I normally talk to on a Sunday night.
Mm.
It's the same crowd, and it's a routine. We've got used to it. We got used to chatting to each other on a Sunday.
It's great. Absolutely great.
I don't particularly like doing my own live streams in the evenings. I never even thought about trying it, but
I don't even understand how StreamYard and all the rest of that work. Because the reason why I'm changing my office into a studio is to get the mics right. I'm going to put them up on hanging bars. Going to get a studio system in. Going to be shown how to use it, and that's ready for me trying to work out how to do YouTube to set up my channel. So I've got to work all that out. So I'll be coming to you, Roger, and anyone else that can help.
no good asking me anything about that, is it?
I'll need help, that's for sure. Perhaps Jack can give me some tips as well. So,
but I'll be honest, I get a lot hassled than Dan.
Any tips he got on shaving?
it's just that I've never done it. I've never done it before, so I want to try just making a few videos and start off and telling people who I am, and then I want to go into the chat side like you and Dan do as well, to have the chat box.
That's my setup. I've got the mic up here.
That's what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Obviously, my 2 screens, the tower systems under the desk. I've got the transformer for the mic there. And then if I go back to, hang on. Oh, I pressed the wrong one. How unusual for me.
Yeah. I'll be doing exactly the same, Roger. I'll be messing up all over the place. That's for bloody sure.
You're ball patch now.
Oh, you can't see it behind there. Oh, no, because I hadn't even got them there. Sorry, I was going to show the tripods and the whiteboard and everything, but they're all put away in the other camera and the lights.
Can I
Yeah.
interrupt and ask Tina a question, please, darling?
Yeah, go on.
Tina, a while back you mentioned on Dan's stream about a book to do with how benefits were worked out.
Yes.
What was the name of it and where was it available?
It is the benefits guide for assessors. I can send you a link. Roger, have you got my email address?
I don't know if I have.
It's tcweb@outlook.com.
I'll mail you tcweb@outlook.com.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you very much, Tina.
Send that through to me, but basically through the email, and I can email you the book. It costs around £90 normally, but if you express that you're disabled and giving free advice, it's reduced to about 20 quid. It is the benefits guide to all benefits, but what it is, the book contains all of the tricks they use not to give you money. So it's all the crap stuff they don't want you to look at, but because it's public service, they have to show the book. But I'll try and find the link for you and I'll send it through.
Thank you. So I'll email you in a bit. It's all right. I'm being fobbed off at the moment when I'm asking how it's all calculated and what will I lose if I go back to work. So because I don't think it's fair that I should lose Roger's money.
Well, that's the point. That's what they're trying to convince you to do. That is the point, because what they look at is your joint income. So when they look at your joint income, basically, they would it's not work. A pension is not something that you take from the government. It's something you fucking paid in. Sorry, my language today. It's something you've paid into all of your life by paying your tax and your stamps. This is where the government really annoy the crap out of me, because they're trying to get all pensioners to go back to work. My answer down the phone was, screw you. No. So absolutely not. I was retired by the civil service at age 59 because of my disability. So fuck off. Swivel.
It's nothing to do with pensions. It's what I earn and what we lose.
It's what you earn together. So basically, if you earn too much over a certain level, I've never known them penalise a pension anyway from a partner. The only benefits that may affect you is if you pay council tax.
None of that. Neither of us are getting pensions. We're
You're not getting pension.
We're only 62 years old.
Oh, sorry.
So
We're
we
just
can't
on
get
benefits.
state
That's
pension.
it. At the moment.
Sorry, I became a pensioner at 59. Sorry, Roger.
No,
We don't get that luxury.
we haven't got that luxury yet.
I know, but when you work for the civil service, they'll do anything. So
I'll email you.
But
Thank
she
you.
said she'll email you anyway.
yeah. Let me just make sure I got the right. Yeah, it's tcweb@outlook.com.
Yeah, cool.
I mean,
I'll do
the
that
government
later.
have put out that they're going to make it easier for those that are claiming PIP, but I don't believe that for a minute.
They are. It's coming in next year. They started rolling it out in Scotland, I believe, because the government has had lots of attacks on those who've got disabilities that are not going to go away. Like we all know, we've all got problems that are never going to get better. In fact, the majority get worse because more things turn up. So they're bringing in what's called a light touch. Scotland's had it for a year. So it's rather than the 22-page manual they send you, it's 6 pages of basics. If anything has changed since your last claim, like medication, more treatments, you just add that to it. You fill the 6 pages in. When it's agreed, they don't come near you for 10 years. They leave you alone for 10 years. In that 10-year period, if you're over the age of pension age, they won't bother you again. It is coming in 2024 for England. It's been in Scotland now for about 12 months, I would say. Wales is dragging behind, but yeah, it is coming, definitely. I followed that quite a bit about the consultation for it.
Yeah, it's they keep swapping the pensions and that around. I personally don't think by the time we get to mine, and others, that there won't be a pension. It'll be you'll just live on this and that's it.
They can't take your pension away because it's what you've paid in. They tried this before, so that's
There's
not going to happen.
Taken away in the last 2 years. They
They've
shouldn't have
already
done.
taken mine, Tina. I should have had it 2 years ago.
Right. You do know if you've got a pension, you're allowed to pull down 25% of that pension for any needs that you have before your pension age.
I did wages.
She
and
does. She
I've,
used to do wages and payroll for a living.
I've got.
So you
small-
can draw down on it.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I've only got small pots out there. I've cleared one out from pre-millennium, but it's different jobs, different pensions.
Yeah.
So I've got to look at whether it's better to amalgamate them or whether to take a quarter out of each, or how best to do it going forward.
I took a quarter out of one of my pensions, and that gave me 12k. But I've got a civil service pension and a local government pension, so mine's quite high. Although the civil service one was higher. So when I got booted out of the local government, yay! Thank God for that. They were shit. So I got booted out from them. So I put my pension to the civil service, which almost doubled the premiums. So I get more from the package I've got now. Now, the pension age is going to be 67, I think, by 2025. At the moment, it's still 66. So,
Pardon you.
It's going to be 67 for all of us.
yes.
So I know we're roughly the
Fucking
same
last
age.
round of painkillers they give me, they're fucking huge, man.
What are they?
Cocodamol.
Oh, God, no. I couldn't take those.
I've just dumped our new chemist.
I'm not worried about the full fat coca lama.
I can't-
That's 0.
You know they've got sweeteners in, which is actually
Yeah,
Well,
it's worse for you.
it's
It is.
actually more. It's actually more
What was
harmful.
it saying
for
to you
you than
about
the
wood?
sugar.
Was about they treat wood with as well. It's supposed to be a cancer.
Sorbitol or saccharin or what's the other one? Begins with an A. They're all carcinogenic.
Aspartame, I've been drinking them for years. Because
Yeah,
I've
they're not good.
but I've always been on a diet. So as soon as diet drinks became available, I moved on to them.
The
So
best
they
sugar.
obviously quickly.
Yeah, the best sugar you can look for, or genuine sugar, is called stevia. Stevia is a plant-based sugar. No ingredients go in it other than the plant-based sugar they get from the plant. So stevia is the one that they're trying to get a lot of these companies that make fizzy drinks to use. But we're not as bad as America for sure. The amount of poisoning they got going on over there is incredible.
Well, if you look at the size, let's just use Coca-Cola for example. I can't
Yeah.
even speak. Let's just use Coca-Cola for example, right? In the UK, the different portion I call them portion sizes, right? The different sizes of drinks is very different in the UK than it is in America.
It is.
They have a lot more. They have a lot more range of drinks, or at least they have a lot more items. So I've not looked for a while, but the last I saw, they had like a 3-liter bottle, I think, or a 2-liter bottle, like
Something like that, yeah.
something like that. Which they do have a 3-liter bottle for Diet Coke. I'm not sure if that's still a thing in the UK now or not.
I'm not
They
sure.
might have got rid of that. But there, at one point, they did have a 3-liter bottle of Diet Coke.
Yeah, for the
Now,
bald
in
heads.
America, what?
Sorry.
In America, the amount we think that Coca-Cola is bad in the UK, it's nowhere near as bad as America.
No, it's not.
ma-
And same as the food, Jack. The food in America is so toxic, they've got a 70% cancer risk, even to newborn babies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because of the food the mother takes while she's pregnant is affecting the child. And also more teenagers in America now, young girls are having to have hysterectomies in their teens or in their 20s because of cancers, breast cancer. That's only the USA is the most obese country in the world because their food McDonald's, a burger. Okay, we've got Mackie Dean's.
I was going to say McDonald's. Yeah.
We've got McDonald's here. So there's a load of Americans now looking at British food. And a lot of Americans want to move here because they're so scared of what they're eating. So they got these burgers, they put them side by side.
Stop
In our burger,
getting pregnant.
in
Have
our
you looked at the
burgers,
figures over Europe.
yeah. But in our burgers that are produced in McDonald's here, because of our food standards, I've only got 5 ingredients. The American one had 22 different ingredients. Sodium, this, blah, blah, blah. It was chemicals. They're feeding
Yeah.
their people chemicals.
Do you know in the fries they actually put in? I'm not sure what it's called, but there's something they put in the fries
Yep.
to make the fries look more yellow.
Yes, a yellow colouring. Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
colouring. Look at some of the Chinese videos of them actually painting food.
And
Yeah.
Get more money
MSG,
for it.
you know what? MSG. Once you pop, you can't stop. Right.
But if they
But
did a
you was on about then about the problems with childbirth and that. Now I've got some notes written out, so I was going to do a piece next week on a video on it.
sorry,
Now,
Roger.
The reduction in the childbirth rate over Europe has dropped like a big fucking bomb, with Italy reporting a 2/3 drop.
Yeah, but I think they got more men than women, don't they?
It's nothing to do with the immigrants.
No, they got more men than women. In Italy, the population.
No.
I think it's down to the
Think
jibby
about
jab.
what happened 2.5 years ago and
Yes.
what countries bowed down like good little sheep
Yeah,
and
jibby
lined
jabby.
up.
Jibby jabby.
Yeah, I agree. That's had a
Sperm
lot of effects on a lot of people. Yeah.
Sperm
You
banks
look at the
pay more for
countries
somebody who hasn't had
that
a
bowed
jab.
down like Italy, that said you have it or you're fucked, and they took it. Now all these countries are seeing big drops in birth rates, and
Well,
women.
That's what they wanted, wasn't it? Wasn't that a plan?
But Roger, to be fair, their sperm rate was lower before this as well, down to processed foods and shit.
Yep. And this is what I'm saying. It's not just down to whatever is affecting women; it's affecting the males as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's I think is where these big billionaires come in with population decrease. I genuinely believe that.
Yeah.
They are minded on having certain populations killed off, like pensioners, disabled. I don't know how they do it, but all that happened anyway during COVID. Why would you take a pensioner out of a room in a nursing home and put him in a ward?
We're going to get some truths exposed in this debate over the excess deaths, which hopefully is going to be this coming week.
Yeah, there was 20,000 from the stats of the ONS. A friend of mine sent me the report. Only 20,000 actually died from COVID. The rest were the elderly that had already had the flu jab plus the COVID.
We're not on about that back then. We're on about the ones dying now.
Oh yeah, there's loads.
Yeah.
Absolute loads.
Footballers,
It's not as bad. It's not as big as people have been saying. Now, the figures that have been bandied around, and I've used them until I looked into them, was about 2,500 a week, which is way over the national average at any time in the past.
That is bad. I saw one guy. He was a triathlon.
Hang on, I ain't finished yet.
Sorry.
Right, that's the number that you do that all the time when and I lose where I am.
Sorry.
It's not 2,500. It is more like 1,500.
Right.
Because there's difference in the way that people have been calculating the figures and what they've been using to calculate the figures.
Right.
Now, Andrew Brigham stood up for the 5 that could be bothered to turn up in the house. And people like me that was watching him actually heard him say that. And he had the figures in front of him. I can't remember exactly what they were, but they're not as high as what they've been quoting.
Right.
But they are still way above the average.
It's scary to think about it.
But
when you think
he knows they're up. Everybody knows they're up. What we want to get is them to admit that they know why. That's what they're hiding. That's what they're fighting and getting out.
Of course they will. They're not going to tell the truth, are they? That would make them really scary for people.
And especially with this new second COVID inquiry that's going on, that's digging.
I know. That's going to be quite big. There was a woman that came on to YouTube. She did a video. She's a specialist in, what do they call it? Medicines, anyway. So there's a long name for it. And she said that the pandemic itself was totally unnecessary. All of these countries did all of this panic and mass jabbing for no reason. No reason.
We once put there is they're pushing it again. Basically, what was it? What the government ordered in for the new round of the recommended protection that they're on about.
Yeah.
Call it. is about 5% of what it used to be. And they've
Wow.
actually dropped the orders by down to that because they know that the uptake isn't going to be there anymore.
Well, I've seen the local chemist near me is now doing the jabs. So they're now for the doctor, apparently, because they're so busy. I've never seen any patients in there. I went in there one day, it was just me. And I'm thinking, well, where's everybody else? It's supposed to be packed out in here. So the chemist next door is doing the triple flu jab and the COVID jab to these pensioners. There's a big queue coming out there every single day.
Yep. I mean, I put out in the video an email that I used to keep getting about the flu jabs and the other ones, and people keep moaning, oh, we'll keep getting these bloody emails. And I noticed if you go to the bottom of it, there is actually a link in there where you can opt out of getting the bothering emails.
Yeah,
Oh, right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, unsubscribing from emails.
It's a few steps to go through, but it's the same as the NHS one when you had to opt out of that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
They're always going to do it unless you physically go in and opt out.
yeah, definitely. And it does work when you opt out. That's the good thing about it.
It's funny
But
you
when
say
I
that,
went-
actually. It's funny you say that because I've actually had instances before where I've unsubscribed from certain websites that I am not interested in any of their emails, at least promotional stuff, and then they start sending me promotional stuff again. I'm like, what? I unsubscribe from you. So it does happen. It does happen.
It can get through, Jack. Yeah, that's right. But I mean, I'm on my doctor's service, which is called System Online, so
Yeah.
I can see my own record, so I can check what comes back in the blood test. So, and also, sorry.
Ask you something, Mike. I'm on that system online. I only use that for my repeat prescriptions. How do I see my medical records through that then?
Right, if you go through System Online to the right, I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2, it says records.
Oh, really?
So go down to that and you can view your test results and all that kind of stuff. So I'll give you an example. I went to look on System Online. I had some blood tests done recently. Cholesterol's fine, sugar's fine, my heart rate's great. I got perfect blood pressure, everything. I get a text message from my GP within about an hour. Can you make a doctor's appointment? It's really urgent. What's it about? And she said, oh, it's about your blood test results. Well, it says it's fucking normal. So what do I want to come down for? She went, what? I said, it's normal. There's nothing wrong. So why do I want to have a chat? You keep telling me you're busy. You want me to come down for a visit and do what? Discuss it? Oh, we'd like you to go on tablets. No.
My GP knows as much as me anyway because my consultants are brilliant. They always send me the same letters that they send.
Exactly. But you can also join up with your System Online with My Care at the hospital. So when the hospital do blood results, you can also get that. You sign into My Care, set up your account, and you can also see the hospital records that the doctors don't like to show you.
Oh, everybody has a right to see their own records. They never used to have. They used to
No,
say
they didn't. No,
you couldn't. But that was changed with the Freedom of Information Act.
yeah, it was. I think it's on second from the right, Simon. You've got records, and
Yeah,
if you scroll down, you should see.
Patient record. Do you mean patient record?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, I'm on it now. Wow, I didn't know that was there.
Oh, see, you can see everything about you now.
I don't know what's going on tonight, mate. YouTube has been an absolute nightmare for a couple of weeks now. It's not just my channel; it's across the board. It's the whole platform.
Is it playing up? What's it doing? Is it causing a screen?
All day today.
I personally think that they are putting in things in place because this online safety bill is now in force, by the way. It's had the royal assent, apparently. I think they're putting things in place, and then all of a sudden it's going to be bang. Everything, all the censorship will all come in at once. And I think they're setting everything up for that, to be honest.
That's got to be against free speech.
Not with the online safety bill. That's why we were against it. There's things in there that absolutely kill your free speech.
So they don't want honest. They don't want honest opinions. Then that's what they're trying to block.
They blocked it. It's in the bill.
Oh shit! But they won't like my channel when I set it up. I'll probably get banned in the first week.
if the government or anybody kicks up about you dissenting about something or disagreeing with it, they'll be able to take you down.
Well, what's the point in going on there?
There's going to be so
was-
many rules around it.
I was just
That
having a
doesn't
look
seem.
and
Sorry, Jack.
I was just having a look at some of the main points and what it makes sure. Remove illegal content quickly. So MK Undercut regarding what happened. I didn't see it because I'm not really interested in this stuff, but how quickly that must have got taken down. I mean, it probably would have got taken down quickly from YouTube anyway, regardless. But so
But there are things on there, Jack, which are disgusting. You know, like these beheadings and children abuse and all
Well,
that.
this is how the platforms are going to abuse it. Because the ultimate power, believe it or not, to police the platforms has been handed to Ofcom.
No way.
Ofcom have told the platforms they have to police themselves and report back to them.
Well, Ofcom don't do a lot. They don't do a
There
lot.
will be provisions made where you can go directly to Ofcom.
Oh,
Ofcom will be accountable to the government, and obviously the government are going to be telling them what they can let go and what they can't.
yeah.
The same
But
as
I've always,
they do
yeah,
all along anyway. We know
yeah.
that.
We've got loads of regulations with Ofcom regarding ham radio, and we've had breaches of licenses and people that are fake and like. And you try and get through to them twats to set it out. They're useless.
Yep. It's
one thing.
what
Do you
is
know
in
one
it.
thing-
I mean,
Oh, sorry.
I've only glossed over it. And I would say that's 20% protecting kids, women, and doing what the bill's supposed to do. 80% censorship on everything else under the
Wow.
guise of online safety.
So what is the point of having the freedom to express?
There
What
you
is
go.
the point if you can't do it? If they're going to keep blocking people, they're going to lose their business very, very quickly.
Well,
Because
this
it's going.
what
Surely,
I said.
yeah,
And
they're going.
I've openly told YouTube in an email to a person, not to a bot.
Oh, that's cool.
And I told them, you break your core value every day.
Yeah, they
Your
do.
core value is freedom of expression. And you break that core value every day by the censorship you do. And I put that in 2 years ago.
Wow.
I did 2 videos. I accused them of one thing. And I actually had to go back and retract it and apologize. Because
Okay.
I saw something happening and I presumed it was for a certain reason. And it wasn't. It's clearly in the guidelines about why some comments and some likes and what have you are removed, which I totally understood after reading the rules. So hands up. Sorry, YouTube. I got that wrong. I apologize. But for the rest of it, no. You break your core value every fucking minute you press a button.
I have to say, this online safety bit, I was just having a look at some of the things that was mentioned. It mainly talks about, it's. I assume it's put out for everyone, but it's mainly directed at children. I could be wrong, but
which version are you reading there, Jack? What site?
Oh, the actual government website.
The government
itself.
website. Okay.
Yeah, 26th of October, so 3 days ago.
So you're only seeing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Well, I don't do that kind of research. I'm not. It doesn't really interest me. But the thing that got me the most out of this entire page was, and I've yet to see it happen. But it mentions about preventing children from accessing harmful and age inappropriate content, including pornographic content that promotes, encourages, or provides I don't see.
That's what I'm saying, Jack. If you read through it, about 20% of it is that, which is fine. You know, stuff like that, I absolutely agree with.
Yeah.
And I believe the censorship should go a lot further than it does now on certain things. But
18, yes.
that's my personal view. But 80% of it is absolutely designed and put in there just to shut people like us up.
True.
So
A lot of the
where do we go from there? To honest opinion, Roger, where do we go?
I don't know a way around it. I mean, since I've read through a lot of the rules, I have, and people have noticed, and I have said it, I try and play within the rules. Yes, I come very, very close to the line at times, but I do actually consciously check myself now on what I say in my videos, because I know that is the only way we're going to be able to speak.
What about StreamYard? Is that separate or is it part of YouTube?
It will be all everything online, live streams, everything.
Wow.
We've
God,
already
God save
seen
good night. Sorry.
with Mark Kelly last week.
Mm.
Now that was a damn good reason. Now, Reverend Simon Sideways lost his Discord.
Really?
did it?
They just ripped the whole thing down. I don't know quite what it was over or what was said because I wasn't in there at the time. Apparently, I haven't had it confirmed. I must ask them actually. His moderators lost their accounts as well.
Damn.
From there. And in live streams, as James just put, he had some comments that weren't accepted on streams, typing in when he was shadow banned. They usually come up, oh, it's not working or something like that. At which point you refresh and go back in and it will work again. But that is actually YouTube playing silly buggers live in that stream.
It's just how we're going to get round it. If somebody wants to run like you do, your own program, how the hell do you get round it?
You can't. If you're using any online service, yes, Mickey, it was because of the porn bombing. But there again, if you're going to have people like Crinkle on your stream and leave them there for 6 minutes with the stream unattended, I'm sorry, you deserve what you get.
No way did they do that.
Mark Kelly walked away from his computer for 6 minutes and let
Oh
Crinkle
my
on there on the
God. Why would
So
you never let him in on the
everybody-
first place? You know what he's going to do. So
everybody was entertained by 6 minutes of hardcore porn.
You know, honestly,
Ew.
my honest opinion is right. People who, as I said, I've said it many times in the past. People who feed off of drama, who make a channel or who host a host or have a platform where they allow drama to happen.
I said this earlier, Jack.
On the channel or on their platform, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah, but think about
I
what
think
you do.
it's toxic.
Think about what you're doing now. Think about what you're doing now. What you're actually saying.
Yeah.
By sitting there talking about them, you're giving them what they want. You're feeding them.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough.
And that's why I very rarely bring them up.
Yeah.
They just annoy me.
You are correct. If you ignore someone who is masochistic like that, Jack, if you don't give them airtime, they lose.
Yeah.
They can't go anywhere. That what they absolutely desire is our attention, our conversation, our talks about it. If you don't do that, they can't go anywhere. They have no ammunition because you're ignoring them.
True.
Now that word resist, yes, absolutely. And the way they're changing the way that we can do things online is a very, very big part of that.
Mm.
Now, I did in a video, and I've said it a few times, that the biggest thing they need to do to complete what they're trying to do under their agenda, and I don't mean the green agenda and net zero and that sort of bollocks, I mean under the government's agenda, the biggest move they can make is cut communications between us lot out here in the country.
Yeah, I agree, Roger. They're trying to separate and segregate.
And by that censorship, that is another big step on that ladder.
Oh, yeah, they want control, definitely.
You know, the main thing that really frustrates me, right, is the fact that obviously a lot more people are opening their eyes, opening their ears, and are seeing what this country's turning into, what the world is turning into, you know. But here's the thing: there are still still a lot of people that recognize what's happening and recognize what's going on.
Mm.
But it's like they cannot be asked. They cannot be bothered. They're like,
No, if you
know.
look closely, there's been another change in tactics
Right.
from them. On again, another controlling feature. Now, I brought it up before. They want to control our movement.
Mm.
Now, a lot of what they've been putting in place, especially in London, which the whole country is focused on, they're not looking at anywhere else at the moment. People that are looking at what's going on, they're looking at London.
Right. Okay.
Now, it's all about the ULEZ.
Yeah.
Now, we know the ULEZ is a money-making scheme. It's nothing else. It's not a controlling scheme. It's a money-making scheme.
Yeah.
But you look around the country elsewhere, they've now handed back permission for councils to implement the low volume neighbourhoods where they can direct traffic, put traffic in certain directions at times of day, speed restrictions, whatever. Now, they're doing this with the government's blessing because they've never been interested in that money in London. Only Khan's interested in that. What they're interested in is controlling our movements.
Yep.
Now, once they've that, a lot of it's the country's up in arms about. Now, if you look back, what they put in place, what I'm talking about now, the U-turn has started on that. They're saying, let people move, let them travel. This is what they want to bring back in, which is a total U-turn. But wait for the next few months, the next year, that travel will be still impeded. They will cut you down on it by pricing you out of doing it.
You're right, Roger. I mean, we've had consultations in my city about the LTNs you talked about.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything about it. They've had consultation. 10,000 people went on a march and are taking a blind bit of notice of them because all it's done is gone from being the parents coming into the school down the side roads to stay away from mainstream traffic. There's only 6 ways into the city. So now, because of what they've done, the cars are now stuck. Like in a main road near me from the motorway, there's now 2-hour tailbacks in the morning in 3 different points into the city. So these people are idling at 20 miles an hour and can't go anywhere because they've blocked off all these streets.
Yep.
So what are they saving?
Oh, shit.
Nothing.
Sorry, I just
Nothing.
pressed the wrong button then.
They've actually stated that they're causing more damage to the ozone layer by putting these restrictions in, but they don't want to change it.
Yeah. That one there that Loafer just said to Mickey. Yeah. No, think why they're doing that. Where are the biggest meeting places that the public meet? And talk?
Churches and pubs.
Yeah.
Of course, the churches, Roger, are saying they're poor, so they have to sell the churches off. Can you believe that one?
Tina,
Huh?
there's several people in here that I know that have followed me right from day one when I started my channel.
How long ago you been doing it now?
It's got to be nearly 3 years now.
Wow.
But they pointed out, or 2 of them did, a week or 2 ago. Do you know, they said, all these videos you're putting out now saying what's happening as it's happening, you actually said was going to happen in some of your videos back during lockdown.
Oh, yeah, true. It's absolutely true.
Well, one of them actually, but he said that you've been about 98% right so far.
I agree. Your videos are great.
It's and you know.
No, they're very precise. You do your research, Roger. That's what I'm trying to say. You look into it.
And it's like, okay, yeah, bring the economy down. Yes, bring the economy back down. It is brilliant for the country.
It's more than just the economy, though. It's lots of other things.
It doesn't help us right now. It's going to take years to bring that down to a level where it's acceptable. Most of us won't even be here by the time that all gets sorted out. Because I don't think it ever will.
No, not properly. They keep messing about with too much of our own money.
Yeah.
So we do more.
Any prices that went up during lockdown when people were scared, those prices will never go below that level again.
No, they won't.
I think it's going to be a
retailers have been able to sell it at that price.
Yep.
People will get, like, even now, that a lot of the talk in the House and interviews, you don't hear nothing about the cost of living.
Mm.
It's still going up, but they
Yep.
don't talk about it because then people don't get upset about it.
Because they get the
They've got
taxes
used
from
to it.
they get the taxes from the conglomerates.
They've got used to it. The government are seeing how much they need to give us to just keep us quiet.
Yes. Like when the DWP did those £900 a year grants, didn't they? They gave people money on what the bloody hell is it called? Universal credit. But they never gave it to the lowest paid pensioners or the disabled.
Nope.
So
And
the poorest in the country didn't get shit.
And it points to the thing that I said right in the beginning. Everybody will have exactly the same amount of money put in their bank account every month, no matter whether they work, whether they're on benefits, whether they're retired. Those that are able to work will be forced to do it by loss of that money. And then once that money's in that account, they've got control of all of it through a cashless society. So even though they've given you the money to exist, I won't say survive, exist, they will even be able to control that, how your power works, what you eat, what you drink, where you travel. And that's the way it's all heading. It's called a dystopian society.
I agree with you. I totally agree, Roger. I really do. I think that's the way it's going.
Yeah.
I mean, everyday people are struggling to buy basic food. The biggest corporation responsible, in my opinion, is Tesco's. They bought all three of the biggest warehouses and manufacturers of food. Now, all the other shops have got to go to them to buy their goods. So they keep the prices high. I used to work in a store. So it's a little trick that they do. So if they're going to need to put prices up to cover the cost of stealing these, shoplifting. So they said they would have to put certain prices up to meet it. So basically to cover the cost, which would run into millions if they're nicking bottles of whiskey and stuff. But they bought these conglomerates 3 years ago. The government allowed it it's before COVID. So they allowed Tesco's to buy these three supermarkets, the warehouse services. So now everyone's got to go to them. So when I worked in the store, so if we had a product like, let's just say Heinz baked beans, all right? Well, the trick was you kept the stock of the baked beans in the warehouse. You only put out a limited amount of baked beans. So the price went up because they said there was a shortage. This is years ago I'm talking about. They're doing the same thing now. Okay. So people were having to buy the baked beans because they're kids or they make like baked beans, but they had to pay the extra price. So
well, have you ever known any time in history where the government can almost start a war over fucking arsewipe?
the only benefits they can remove instantly with a switch of a button, for those that are listening in the chat, is universal credit. That's one of the worst benefit systems I've ever seen introduced in this country. The government says you must have a standard amount to live on. And yet during COVID, they were cutting people's money off. I think there were about 2,000 suicides because they lost their homes, and other suicides because they couldn't afford to turn the heat on or buy food because their money had been stopped by UC.
And what Sean's put there, those that do that, Sean, I can't be sure, but I would suspect it. So once it's gone in there, they can't take any of it back out.
They can. Universal credit can. That's the problem. They can take it back out.
Not if the money ain't in there.
If it's not in there, but if they take it out quickly.
As soon as their payment goes in, they take it out.
That's what I do. I do the same. I have a certain amount of bills I have to pay, certain amount of food, and I draw that out in cash, and it's in a tin. And I keep that.
Do they only have access to the specific bank account that you provide?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So if you've got
Sean,
like more
that's
than,
where I come from.
so you've got a savings account as well. They can't access that, can they?
Sorry, Jack. Sean was asking about the accents. I was actually born in Berkshire, as it was back then. It's now Oxfordshire.
Wow.
I moved from there down to Cornwall, where I spent most of my years, and probably some of the better leaving years as well. I used to have a whale of a time. And then I moved back up to Bristol. I spent, nearly 10 years there, bought a house. And then for personal reasons, I lost the house to a woman, and I moved up to Birmingham
With another woman.
with another woman. That relationship didn't last long at all. We nowhere near suited. Spent a few years on my own up here, and eventually we got together through a mutual friend who introduced us at a pub.
Oh, nice.
And as Heather said, she settled and I just took what I could. She always swears that I only wanted to go with her because she had a shed in the back garden and I didn't in the flat.
Oh, there you go.
But it turned out once we got to know each other, we didn't jump into anything drastic to start with. But it turned out we were very, very compatible. We liked a lot of the same things.
That's good.
We'd both been through bad relationships. We'd both been well hurt and badly hurt in the past.
Lost loved ones.
Lost loved ones. And yeah, and we just been together ever since. And
That's a nice story, Roger.
What you see is what you get.
Well, that's the way it should be. You shouldn't be anything you're not supposed to be. Be yourself. That's what it's about.
Exactly.
Be honest, be open.
People have often said, I mean, yeah, I've got a logo now, thanks to Beardy, who was in the chat there just now, who designed that for me as, I think, a bit of a joke. Oh, you're kidding me, then fucking hearts are back. Or is that someone put it in the chat?
No, Sean's put a heart at the
Thank
end
God for
of the
that.
comment.
So yeah, I've got the logo, but I've always said that I would always work under my own name. I don't hide from anybody. You know.
How the hell did you know it was me, Roger? You didn't ask me to put my camera on or authenticate myself or anything.
Mate,
I could have said.
My finger has been hovering over the remove button since you came up until you spoke.
I could have come on and gone, hello again.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I cottoned on, mate. I mean, we don't often get them in here. I am lucky in that respect. One or two have tried. But yeah, I mean, I literally then, until you spoke, my finger has been hovering over that remove banner. And there is quite a big, I mean, it would still show for a second on the other stream, but there is quite a big lag between StreamYard and the mainstream. It's about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
But I wish they'd give you a chance to like freeze the StreamYard and remove a section before it went out on there, like they do on the TV and the radio. You know, you get that comfort zone where they can either beep something out or remove it.
Yeah, got you.
But you don't get that. You might get it on the pay version. I don't know. But being a cheapskate.
I've got a question for Tina. This universal credit thing, does it actually dissuade people from doing additional hours? I think if you do more than 20 hours per week, essentially, if you go in to do extra work voluntarily for an employer, you're actually worse off because it eats into your credits at the end of the
They
financial
shouldn't
year.
do. No, you're allowed to do up to 24 hours on universal credit as a volunteer in any form.
Yeah, but you said volunteer, but if you're actually working.
If you're working, then yes, they can make deductions, which is what they do. And I thought the minimum for that was 16 hours. I'll check on that, Loafer, because I think that's quite wrong. But saying that, universal credit is a law unto itself. I've got the universal credit handbook and they don't follow their own policies. They change it to suit, if that's clear. They make their own decisions. I have never known a benefit system that can take someone's money away from a flick of a switch, as they did during COVID. They literally put people on the streets because they lost their homes. People couldn't afford to put gas on, electric on. Elderly people died in their homes because they were, rather than eat, they were putting the heat on.
Yeah.
You know, this is never reported. It's one of the worst benefit systems I've ever come across. The government's got control. But I will say, regarding your bank details, when you get a council tax housing benefit claim, you don't show them your sort code or your account number. You don't. You black it out. The same as when they're doing an application to see what your income is, I black out literally with a pen all of my outgoings, and all I show, which is what I'm legally entitled to show, that's all they're allowed to see, is what my income is. So my income shows my pension, my ESA support, and my PIP. That's it. They don't get to see anything else. And I did have a council tax worker ring. Why have you blacked it out? Because you're not entitled to the information. You are not allowed to see that.
All I know is that the missus, she must be obeyed unter Sternbaum für a big mother. She used to say she does all the everything. She does the mortgage repayments and the rent, because we've got a 52-48 mortgage, 48 mortgage, 52 rent with the housing association. She
Right.
pays the council tax, the water bills, the electric, pays everything. She used to go out and do all the shopping. Now she doesn't go out doing the shopping anymore. She gets it all delivered on a Sunday morning. Even I wonder what could have brought that in. But the thing is, I'm going out now to Aldi to buy all the basics, the consumables like the bread and the milk and the cheese, everything that's basically not long life food, tinned, packaged or frozen. I'm going out buying all that now, but instead of asking me for 600 quid a month to put towards the bills, and don't forget she works full time as well for the state.
Yeah.
Okay, she's employed by the government. I've got two jobs. I'm a handyman, 16 hours a week, and I've also got my plumbing business, tiling business on the side. Now, she used to ask for 600 quid a month. Now she's asking for 800 quid, and I'm going out buying stuff. So basically, inflation has gone through the fucking roof. And if James Palmer's still in the chat, I'm just going to cross to StreamYards, because I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but StreamYard's resolution on the cameras is an awful lot better. My car broke down, and I've not been able to earn any money. It's a diesel, 60,000 miles. And I thought, well, that car is going to last longer than me. I do about 6,000 miles a year. I want it. I want my diesel car. And the mechanic was a bit slow at getting it sorted out. And it took 5.5 weeks for him to spend about £1,000. It cost me £1,000 to get it back on the road. It was a part engine rebuild.
Wow.
And a basic engine service. I had to go in with a fucking bundle of £20 notes, £5,000 in one hand, and a printout from eBay with my mate, one of my old climbing partners up in Aberdeen, sent me. Apparently, German Auto Parts of Sheffield had exactly the same engine from a rear end write-off. There was nothing wrong with the engine. The engine that was being went in with an eBay thing, and I said, look, this is 4 miles away. They want 996 quid. If you have to replace the entire fucking engine, get on with it. The car's got 80,000 miles on it. I've been borrowing my mates for 10 days, and he's got exactly the same car as me, and it's got 225 miles on it. So the only thing that I'm pissed off about, and an injector went last week. That were another 2 days lost. So I spent 1,370 quid over the last 2.5 months on getting the car back on the road, a diesel, which is more efficient miles per gallon than a petrol car.
Yeah.
And the only thing, if James, if you're still in the chat, mate, if you think I'm full of shit, 1911 George V and a 1927 George V, I've not been able to buy any shinies for the last 2 months. They've been in my wallet for the last 2 months because I had to get the car back on the road. I couldn't afford to invest in alternative assets.
Yeah,
I can get a close up on that.
Can I just get back to Sean there? I did put it up, hoping that I might get a break to answer the comments. I said in a video, actually, I said it in live Friday. Yes, we both been through a lot. We've never dived into details, or not deep details anyway. I believe that's just something that we don't do. There was a time in my life, certainly, that Heather wouldn't have even entertained me. She wouldn't have looked at me.
And you wouldn't have looked at me.
And as she's just said, probably the same. And that is one of the reasons I said in Friday's live that I would never change anything I've been through, because I wouldn't be the person I am now. Neither would Heather if she had changed anything. And we certainly wouldn't have what we have now.
Yep.
And to me, at least, it's the best thing I've ever had. So.
All right. Yes, wonderful, Roger. Great. You have to go through trials and tribulations to meet the right one, so that you melt together in such a way, which means that you found your lifetime companion. It's a lot of hit and miss. It really is.
I mean, I will admit, and I think Heather would admit herself, it wasn't easy going at the start because
It's not
there,
easy now.
there were issues. How can I put it without saying within the family,
Yeah,
not just mine.
I got you.
But we've got through all that, and we're still here.
That's good. And you should be proud of that, both of you.
Yeah, and she did. She actually warned me what I was walking into.
Well, see, that's good.
And I walked
Honesty.
into it willingly.
Yeah.
No, nothing wrong with honesty. That's what bonds people together. I mean, when I met my husband, he was a chronic alcoholic and drug user. And I said, well, I'm not moving in with you till you get that sorted out. So I made him go through cold turkey with two very big bikers that wouldn't let him go anywhere. So over a 3-week period.
I had a daughter on her own with 3 children going through depression. She won't mind me telling you. And my mother suffering with dementia. It was a lot for him to take on.
Yeah.
Because my life wasn't mine to give to him. The amount of times we've sat down for a nice evening in front of the telly and it's been fucked up royally by one or the other. And
I know what you mean. Yeah.
but that was my life, and I told him that's what he was taking on.
I got a hint of it before we even moved in together because I'd come and stay round here, and Heather would come and stay round my flat.
Yeah.
And was it the first 2 weeks when the copper turned up?
It was early days. I don't know whether it was
we hadn't
so
even moved in together, and but 2 o'clock in the morning, we've got a knock on the door. It's the police. They only found my address because they were told what sort of car I drove. So they looked up the car, drove round, saw the car, checked the registration to get my name. Because the daughter had been arrested and the kids needed looking after. And, you know, so the hints were there, but I never backed down and I never walked away. I've never walked away from issues.
No, that's good, Roger. You stand strong. You're a very strong couple. So that's something you should be proud of. But that's what you have to do. I mean, my old man was clean for about 17 years. And then he got a job for once in his life. The only job he ever had. Got a new job, started traveling. He started drinking again. And then he started attacking the teenage kids I had, his 2 kids. And I said, no, I've had enough. You're on your bike. That's it. Done. Gone. Out.
I mean, yeah, I won't say we have had disagreements, but 1 or 2 big ones on occasion. And yeah, voices get raised, but I've never raised a hand. Neither has she.
Yeah, this was physical assault.
At the end of the day, within an hour, we sat down, we've talked about it, and we're back round to taking the piss.
That's what we did when the kids were growing up. We'd have that chat, but we always made sure before we went to bed at night, it was love you, turn over, go sleep, whatever. And we got rid of it because it was dealt with. But when he started drinking again, I came home from my university course training as a counsellor, or my college course, and he'd hit my daughter. She had her handprint across her face, and he had my son by his throat. And I said, that's it, you're done. After 20 years, gone. Nope.
Life's never been easy, and I don't think it's going to get any easier at the moment.
No.
I know
every one of us is struggling with one thing or another that's going on.
You know, this is what I mean. Yeah, everybody calls me Pops, which I actually like because
it's nice.
The thing is that those people that have spoken to us privately and what have you, they know what we've been through because they're friends of ours, and they know we're talking from experience on a lot of it.
Yeah.
You know, and we can always give advice. We can say what we did, but at the end of the day, it's up to the individual what advice they take.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, they say you can lead a human to water, but you can't make it drink. Oh, it's a horse, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't
take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Yeah. You can give advice all the time, but it's down to the individual whether or not they want to accept it. I mean, my son, when he got in with his girlfriend, they had a lot of spats in the beginning. And I said, look, all you can do is sit down and talk it through. The same as me and your dad did to try and sort things out. And then never take an argument to bed because you're going to wake up angry the next morning. Just let it go. And they're getting on quite well now, so which is good for me.
Tomorrow's another day.
It is. Yeah, exactly right.
Like I say, always prepare for the next day, but live it like there ain't one.
I always live for each day I wake up. That's because going through cancer and stuff, I learned that life is a precious thing being a Buddhist anyway. So every morning I wake up, I'm grateful I'm breathing. So that's the way I look at life. Whatever happens that day, I'll deal with it.
My father-in-law didn't like living in Rotherham, so him and his missus, they emigrated about 16, 17 years ago. My mother-in-law died just after lockdown. She was diagnosed with heart problems. And my father-in-law is the last of the grandparents. My mum and dad. My mum died during lockdown as well. My dad died about 15 years ago, cancer. It runs in the family. But he's the last of the grandparents left. And he was diagnosed with leukemia. He's 86-year-old.
Damn. I'm sorry to hear that, Mofa. That's not nice.
Yeah. Horrible.
It is horrible.
I lost my mother during lockdown, but I've always been open about it, and I really couldn't have given a fuck. I only went to the funeral because I knew it would piss people off, and I wanted to make sure she was fucking planted.
Yeah. Well, I'm having to deal with my family now because my mum's got dementia. I've mentioned it before, and she's getting a lot worse. She's swearing a lot, lots of sexual connotations, which I find totally fucking weird. So, so we're having to deal with that now. So we've got care in going in during the day. We're going to put some more care in the evenings if she gets worse. She's absolutely horrified of hospitals. So I've told the social services tried to interject themselves into the family home. So when I answered the door, social services, we've got to do an inspection. Go away. There's nothing to inspect. Talk to the GP if you want to know. We have rights to come in.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
I mean, Heather's mother, and she said it herself on air. She wanted to go. She knew she was at the end, and she'd already said her goodbyes. And she just wanted to go. And from what I've heard, my mum was the same. Although I wasn't there to hear any of it by choice. It's a rift that's been in my family for many years, and people say, did you get emotional? There was no tears, put it that way.
I know exactly what you're saying, mate.
There was tears at my father's grave. Many.
I was basically, I've got no relation to my mum or my dad. He died 24 years ago. And 6 months before he died, I told him exactly what I thought of him because he was a domestic violence perp. And I was his favourite punch bag. I was the middle child. So I never had any. And my mum, it's hard to explain. I don't know whether you can understand it. I never had any care from my mum. She never dressed us, cleaned us, touched our hair, told us she loved us.
Mine weren't like that. I did have a good upbringing.
No, didn't. Not me, because basically my mum let I'm one of 10 children. So as soon as the older daughters got old enough, they looked after the first 5. Then when I got old enough, from the age of 10, I was doing the cooking, the cleaning, looking after the 2 younger brothers that were born. She never lifted a finger as a parent, but I won't give up.
Like that. Our problems started probably in my late teenage years. And I'll admit, I weren't the best of ones, but totally far from it. But, when did it really hit me? I think it was after I passed my driving test. And I had to take my 2 Irish aunties back to the airport to catch a flight home. And then, like I say, that was in my late teens. Now, I was in, where was I? I was in Bristol. So this is within the last 25 years. I had travelled up to see the family because my 2 aunties were over again. Sadly, one of them since died. But again, because I had to come past Bristol Airport, or virtually past it, they asked if I'd drop them off at the airport. I said, absolutely fine. And one of them bought something up in the drive down. She said, do you know what? She said, I'm going back to what we said the last time you took us to an airport. And it was that long ago that I couldn't remember what was said. And, what you say in a journey doesn't stick in your mind half the time. And that. And she said, no. She said, I'm just thinking now. She said, you've been left home how many years? And I said, long enough. And she said, yeah. And she said, we've been coming over at least once a year since you were born. I said, yeah. And she said, I have never, ever seen a photograph of you in that house.
Mm.
There was photographs of my brother and sister. There was my brother, sister's trophies. There was Sue's certificates from the army and her rank certificates and all the bollocks. And she said, I have never, ever seen a photograph of you anywhere on display in the house. I said, yeah, I know. I said, you've only just noticed that. And
It's sad. It's sad to think of it. Yeah.
She said, I actually find that quite upsetting. And that was my mum's own sister.
It is upsetting because when I was kicked out at 15 and a half and I was placed into a flat by a local policeman. He got a landlord to take me on. Social services came in and demanded I wrote to my father, said, you can kiss my ass. I said, he's been using me as a punch bag for the last God knows how many years. But yeah, it's the same as me. All my pictures were taken down. I didn't exist. I had to go back to my ex's funeral 2 years ago. He passed away and I was executor. He didn't even change his will to his new partner. It was so embarrassing. So I had to get that sorted out and get his ashes scattered, which I've done. But once that was done, I turned around and said to him, then the family still didn't want to know. My family is so disassociated from each other. It's just hard. But I never gave up despite the punishment I got from my father and watching him hit other older children from me. I punched his 2 front teeth out when he took my mum's arm and tried to put it into a pan of boiling hot water. I didn't like the fact I had to do it, but he wouldn't stop. She was screaming. And I literally knocked him to the floor on his 2 foot, and that's why I got kicked out. But I still did my familial duty when he was sick, even though I had 2 jobs. Remember the old pagers, Roger?
Yeah.
Oh God, I hated that beep when it went off. I'd be in between 2 jobs. I'd get the pager going off saying Dad's not well, and I'd be running down there with my old man with the kids in the back saying, what's up? And he said, oh, I just wanted to have a chat. I went, what? They're supposed to be for emergencies. I'm tired. But I still looked after the man until he died. I still went down there on a regular basis. I hated him.
The only time that there was anything physical, I mean, yes, as I said, I wasn't the best of the lads. And yeah, I used to get punished regularly. And back in the day, the belt across the arse or something was quite acceptable back then.
Yes.
But as I got older and got bigger, yeah, things used to get heated. Now, I did something wrong. I totally admitted. And the old man waved a fist in my face.
Ooh.
Rather than take a belt off. So as he raised it, I dropped him on the spot. Knocked him sparko.
Yep.
Let him come round. I said, right, now you can punish me how you should do for what I've done. Don't you ever put a fist in my face again.
Exactly.
And I stood there and he took his belt off and he gave me 3 across the arse with it. He said, now you're a man, boy.
Yeah. You stood up to him like I did with my dad. I stood up to him. And after that, he never, ever spoke to me in that way again. When I used to visit my mum, I walked in when I was 18. And he said, what are you doing here? It's my house. I said, no, it's jointly owned by you 2. So stop it. I've come to see mum, not you. Go in the garden and work on your strawberries.
I'll tell you what, I was it on Facebook? It changes the subject a bit. I'm trying to lighten the mood up a bit here. There was a video there of, it is obviously faked, but it's a couple visiting their kids' home for the first time.
Right.
And doing all the things that the kids used to do when they lived at home, like food.
Oh my God, I like that idea.
And they were filming themselves going through the fridge and like tipping stuff down their throat and then just throwing the packet over their shoulder.
Yep.
In milk in a bowl with cereals and it's all going all over the place.
Oh, that's cool.
Looking for a certain item in the clothes drawer and just throwing stuff around.
Oh, it's cool. Absolutely
I'll tell you
cool.
what, it just made me think, was I like that?
Probably. I think we all were. We were all.
Because I used to live in my garage. Most of my stuff was.
I know, but we were. I suppose we had that authoritarian belief That's when my dad started to stamp down on. It was just me he picked on, none of the others, just me. And I used to look at him saying, "What's wrong with you?" And his attitude was that girls were supposed to get married and just breed and cook and clean. That's it. Not allowed to be educated. I did get social services suggest to me one day, "You need counselling." I said, "I don't need that." And they said, "Well, what are you going to do to get away from the trauma you've gone through?" I said, "I'm going to work. I'm going to get skills. I'm going to go to university. I'm going to go to colleges to get extra courses," which is what I did. And that was just to prove to my father, even though he'd passed, that I was better than him and I had more qualifications than he could ever imagine.
Well,
So, yeah, it didn't break
the
me.
only one that ever questioned me mentally was my Uncle Bob. And he actually turned round one day. And now this is very strange because I'm going back to probably the 80s, early 80s, where it wasn't a wide talked about subject. But he actually turned around. He said, "Have you ever thought about seeing a psychiatrist?"
Oh, I was sent to the shrink about 10 years ago.
And I'm like, "What the fuck you on about, Bob?" He said, "Dude," he said, "like, the things you do on your motorbikes, there's something seriously wrong with you." He said, "I suggest you do." I thought he was going to bring something else up, like, you know.
Yeah.
But
it's just other people's perceptions on who we're supposed to be, and I know that's crazy, but I didn't want to raise my children the same way that my father did, with a brute force. He had a leather belt and a big bamboo cane he used to smack us with and all sorts, as well as his fists. He was quite good with those. But no, I don't regret everything that happened in my life. It happened for a reason, and that's why I try to help people get through situations like that now through conversation. If you have a goal in your life, follow it. Your parents can advise you, but they shouldn't dictate on what they expect you to become. So when I moved away and I got my first flat, I was determined to do well because he saw women as a failure from the word get-go, because he had 6 daughters and 4 sons.
well, someone, again, it's a post I saw. Oh, sorry, my eyes are starting again, so I ain't going to be too late tonight. A post somewhere that actually said there are only 2 type of people, and one is the one that dream about their goals. The other one is the one that wakes up and chases them goals.
Of course, that's what I did. I wanted to be qualified and as much as I could get, mate. I really did want to. I wanted to prove him wrong in the fact that I wanted to do better than he ever expected, if that's understandable. Because according to him,
why I ended up a jack of all trades and a master of none.
yeah, learning everything I could, doing night courses, everything.
The only one that I did take seriously and did take quite a few qualifications in was the landscape gardening.
Yeah.
That was only because I was young after I left school. I did other jobs, but I did end up working for the family company, which was landscaping and maintenance. And at that point, it was more or less expected that I would eventually take over the firm.
Wow.
So, yeah, I did a lot of courses, horticultural college and shit like that. Chainsaw, you know, the usual stuff you need. But at the end of the day, I looked at what it done to me dad, and I'm sure it was the work that killed him. Because although he died of cancer, he'd never smoked in his life. He never knowingly stood around smokers. He didn't drink. He'd like the occasional brandy if he was at a party, or a shandy if he was out.
Yeah.
And he went to cancer. And what have I fucking done there? I don't know. But he was my age.
Wow. That's young.
He was my age now when he died.
Wow.
And that has always played on my mind. And yeah, I've done physical work all my life, and I do believe that is why my body is in such a state now.
Yeah, probably.
I knew it was coming. I knew I'd end up having to pay for it one way or the other, but I didn't expect it to come this quick.
Well, no, but it depends on what you do, because your body can only take so much with different illnesses. So,
yeah, most of mine, I can't say they were accidents or pushing, but there was a lot going wrong anyway before all this come about. But I was one of these that used to push through it.
Yeah.
So even after the bypass, I went back to pushing mowers 8 hours a day, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I went back to the maintenance work. I couldn't do it. And
Yeah.
then with this new round, it's unsafe for me to do it. I can't physically do it, and now it's not the physical. It's unsafe for me to do it. And
Yeah, well, you have to reach that conclusion when your body's telling you what to do. You have to comply. Anyway, I'm going to say good night, Roger. Thanks for letting me on, my darling. And you, Mrs.
No
W.
problem, Jane.
Take care, honey. And everybody in the chat, I'm sorry I can't reply. I'll look for your email and I'll send you the link to the documentation. There's a few books there, but the one you need is the guide for the benefits advisors. That's the Bible they don't want you to see. All right, so I'll catch up with you guys later.
All right, Jane.
Take care, everybody.
Good pet.
Bye. Right, what's everybody been saying in the chat? I see Loafer's been in there conversing about currency. That's fine. I don't do any of that anyway. Sean, camera. I hope you don't mind me saying that. No, not at all, Sean. Not at all, darling. You know what I'm like. I'll listen to anybody as long as they're respectful about it. No, I've been my current partner since 2000. Sorry, love. I'm just going through the chat here. Being as
I'll go.
been chatting with Tina there. Tina? Fucking hell. You know what it is? I haven't glued my teeth in tonight.
You haven't glued your teeth in? What teeth?
I had them from a very early age, mate. Again, a product of my lifestyle as a young'un.
Yeah, cigars and beer and coffee with me, mate.
It was all fighting with me. I used to wear a full face helmet just so I didn't knock teeth out, but no, I used to fight a lot when I was young. And I lost, probably a good half a dozen off the top lot before I'd even left school. You know, I used to go in as the first or second year and pick on the fifth and sixth year.
Everybody has to indulge in risk-taking behaviour occasionally because it's good for you, taking a risk. What I can't understand is gambling because the house always wins. If you're going to actually get a kick and an endorphin rush about indulging in risky behaviour, I mentioned it earlier, I don't know if it's in the chat or on the stream, about the car getting fucking my old climbing partner.
I've never gambled. I've gambled with my life.
I can't see the point of gambling. The house always wins. The odds always stacked against you.
Yeah, Sean. I know quite a few women now that have said that that they're going to stay single. They're absolutely happy with it. You know, it's not because of blokes or anything like that. That's just the life they want to lead. And believe it or not, there is a lot of blokes that feel the same.
They're called incels, aren't they?
No, not incels.
They're different.
I used to go into a different mode. Like when I used to go up into the woods with my bushcraft and stuff like that, it put me in a different world. I looked at the world from this perspective of a single bloke. I am the only one in existence at the moment. Stop playing with your man boobs. And it was a nice feeling in some ways, and people just enjoy that. Some people just want to be on their own, and I've always believed, if someone wants to go off in the woods in a cabin and live on their own, that absolutely leave them to it. If that's what they're happy doing, I'd be happy doing it. If me and Ever had a lovely cabin in the woods somewhere that we could actually drive to, I must admit, because of mobility issues, miles away from anywhere, I'd love it. And that's what we do when we go on holiday. And that's why we go where we do go, because we're away from everything virtually. Although they're old holiday towns where we are, or the nearest ones are, they very rarely get busy because people just don't bother going there.
A lot of these holiday towns have been bought up by people with second homes, and they'd only go there for a few weeks a year. or they might
Yeah.
rent them out. And basically, a lot of the old communities in places like Cornwall are completely dying as a result of it.
There ain't a lot of that goes on in Cumbria, especially around Silloth.
Yeah. There used to be. There used to be
some of the deprived areas. You've got just down the road. You've got Maryport, Workington, Whitehaven ain't too bad, but
Whitehaven was a big shipbuilding town at one point, wasn't it?
All the industries died there. The fishing has died there. But we go up there, little cottage. It's cheaper than a hotel room to rent the cottage. We have our 10 days up there, and I will be honest. When we get up there, and Heather will tell you this herself, it's probably the best sleep I get through the year because I'm more relaxed. Whether it's because of the sea air and that, I tend to feel it. I can't do any extra physically, but I feel a lot better up there. The fatigue is still there, but what I tend to do is save a lot of the energy for the fishing. Because that is mainly the thing we do when we're up there. And again, I find it relaxing. You know, a couple of minutes of moving about, casting, and then you sat down for a while, you know. We like that. We like the peace and quiet. We used to go down to Heather's brother's cottage down in Wales. And that is in the middle of nowhere. It's an old farm building. There is a couple of other houses there.
It's the pigsties.
But yeah, it's the old pigsties converted. But we're overlooking the valley that he owns. Loads of land. And you can sit there and hear the wildlife. You're that far away from the roads. You don't even hear road noise. Unless it's one of the farmers going up there with his tractor. But we sat there for an hour with a couple of pairs of binoculars, just looking in the trees because we could hear a woodpecker. You know?
And the following year, I went up without him, and I had a pair of woodpeckers come and sit on the fence for me. It's beautiful.
You got beautiful, secluded little beach a few miles down the road. If you walk down the hill, sadly, Heather would struggle to get down there. Well, I would now, but I have been down there. It's got a lovely stream running through it.
Went down there once, didn't go
Bleach
again.
Demon, good evening, mate. Yeah, I do like being out in the wild. So I'm not a city or a town person. Never have been. London, I wouldn't survive in London.
No, one of my
dead or locked up for killing somebody else.
One of my regular customers, his dad came to this country as a legitimate refugee in 1974. Stop me if I'm boring you, because I might have told you this story before. But another country invaded the northern part of a Mediterranean island, and they sequestered and took his property, everything he had, and he came to this country as a legitimate refugee in 1974. Now, this customer I've got is a secondary school teacher. We'll get to the point in a minute. He's got 6 houses in Sheffield. His dad worked hard, built up some money. He's a secondary school teacher. God knows how many mortgages he's got aren't ring fenced, so he's getting eaten into. I'm having to put the rent up for his tenants. But I spoke to him earlier today, and he's going to have to put his rents up. And I actually put it to him. I said, there's one way you can actually guarantee that your assets, your property, will show a return, regardless of what you're in with your mortgages and your bank. Have you heard of this company called Serco?
Yeah.
They will guarantee all your mortgage repayments, all your basic maintenance as well. So that'll do me out of a job, because I don't work for Serco. They will guarantee all your gas and electric and your utilities, your water, your council tax and everything. And that's even if your tenants have got the heating on 24 hours. How many people in this country can have the heating on 24? How many people out there in the chat are turning the thermostats down? And he said, He said to me, "No, Lothar," I said, "I'll never go into a Faustian pact with Serco. My dad came to this country as a legitimate refugee. I will not. I'll try not to put the rents up, but at the end of the day, he's got to protect his bottom line, his investments. Otherwise, he's got to liquidize some of his investments and probably put it somewhere else."
Gary, Serco actually do security for the migrant hotels as well. They were actually booking some of the hotels. They were awarded millions of pounds in contracts from the government. Not only prisons, they cover a lot of things. They're a bit like Mighty. They started off very small, couldn't quite make up their mind which they wanted to go. And Mighty actually went round the country because they bought my mate's plumbing business off him, buying up businesses of all types, small one-man bands. And then when they bought all the businesses up in that area, they swamped it with their business. Yeah, Carillion was another one, Gary.
Dave Kelly just said, doesn't a certain MP have a vested interest in Serco?
Yes, quite a few of them do.
Yeah, well, it's basically, it doesn't matter. If a Tory MP loses his seat, right, it doesn't matter. He'll have another job to go to. It's a revolving door. He'll probably go into business or politics. I remember when Nick Clegg lost his Sheffield seat, Hallamshire seat, and he was in the I know you don't like going on about politics, so I'll make it brief. Nick Clegg lost his seat when he was in the government with David Cameron, a Tory Liberal government. He lost his seat and immediately was moved sideways into a job with Google. And apparently it was all about censorship and online censorship. And that was, I think it was just prior or just after Donald Trump got elected.
Yeah.
Now, there's a rabbit hole to go down. So basically, he lost his Sheffield Hallamshire seat and he was immediately promoted to a multi-millionaire job in Silicon Valley working for Google.
Yep. Gary just said there, Interserve. Yeah. Interserve used to do all the hospitals as well. They used to subcontract out all the maintenance, the big projects, building projects. I know that because they were at the local hospital here that I worked at for 10 years. So Serco were Interserve. They weren't into security and that again. They were more the building side of it. Yes, we won. The MP did go to Facebook, but there is a new. They did have a committee that was actually censoring the MPs' messages and stuff. That's what they were there for, making sure they didn't get any untoward things. But they've opened that up and expanded towards the public now as well. Obviously, we know the 77th are there. They've been involved for years. And you've also got these disruptors, they're calling them, but they're working with a lot of the platforms that the WEF are paying. And there's apparently 10,000 of them that were let loose over the platforms over a year ago. And they're actually being paid just literally to go through the platforms, report channels, report streams, report individuals, literally just to disrupt it all.
That was a frightening thing about that Tory MP. I can't remember what minister she is. She wrote out to all the platforms about the Russell Brand affair. And Rumble told to get stuffed. Rumble's turned around and told to go fuck herself. But the thing with this online censorship bill, it's all about protecting children. The first way that you can protect your children as responsible people is the parents. You should see what they're getting up to online. You should put parental blocks on. You should limit the time they spend online. It's the responsibility of the parents, not the fucking government, to protect your children. After all, we've got this drag queen story how we're going on. We all know exactly what's going about with how corrupt and nasty that is. No, I'm not anti-fucking trans. I'm not anti-gay or anything like that. I'm a libertarian at heart. I just don't like the government intruding every inch by inch, little by little, bit by bit.
That is
The
something
government are
else.
taking more control.
Yeah, this is something else I touched on in videos a little while back. I haven't talked about it lately. Now, with all these kids running loose with the crime, the stabbings, the shoplifting, and everything else, absolutely, I've always said parents should take more responsibility for the kids. You know, if they're wild and like that when they're old enough, then fine, they leave, simple as. But why they're living under the parents' roof and being funded mainly by the parents, then they should take more responsibility. Now, you've only got to look in the media, not just mainstream media, but on social media as well, the issue with electric bikes, in particular the electric dirt bikes, which aren't cycles. They are actually a small electrified motorcycle, and they're very, very powerful. Now, the average age of these kids terracing around the streets is 14 to 17. Now, if someone can explain to me how a kid that age can buy and hide a $5,000 fucking bike from their parents, is beyond me, because I'd never have got away with it. I did try it one year. I was about 15 and I bought an old dirt bike, a motorbike. And my mate used to keep it round his place for me. But the old man found out. You know, where are they getting the money and how are they getting away with keeping these things? Yeah, there's Sarons, Gary. They're a hell of a price. You know? I mean, that's why I left. The old man openly said, look, you got to live by our rules while you're living under our roof. I said, fine, then I won't live under your roof. I make my own rules in life from now on, and that's what I did.
I didn't see much of my own father because growing up in my tender, youthful years, my mother brought me up and my aunties brought me up and the local community brought me up. I mean, I'm 56-year-old, my brother's 66-year-old. So, you know, my dad were a boilermaker, a welder.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
he worked nights because it paid more, and he went on the permanent way, working on railway lines at weekends. He worked bloody hard. My mother, just an housewife, you know, in between raising me and my brother 10 years apart, she'd go into part-time jobs and then full-time jobs when we're old enough to have the key to the door. You know, responsible enough to look after ourselves.
In the car factories, he worked at MG's.
Yeah, working class.
He started his own company. My mother worked in factories for many years towards the end. I mean, for a good 30 years. She was a chef, a very high qualified chef. I mean, she went to college with Rick Stein.
Oh, Mikey.
You know, and she was running the kitchens at a very, very expensive private school. Both my parents worked full time, worked hard. There was at times where they couldn't give us what they wanted, and they admitted it. And that's what I said. My young childhood, there wasn't, unless I was getting into trouble, which was common. My upbringing in the early years there was nothing wrong with it. I won't say it was perfect, but there was nothing wrong with it. They made sure we were clothed. They made sure we were fed, even going without at times themselves, I will admit. They always made sure we went to school. The only time I bunked from school was through my own choice. And they were quite surprised with my attitude, how many more than adequate exam results I got. They were more than surprised.
Oh, exam results. My nephew, he's 28-year-old, he's functionally autistic. He doesn't get certain humour. You tell him a joke and just stares at you. He just doesn't get it. He was diagnosed very, very young with autism. I think it might run in the family. I think I might be somewhere on that spectrum myself. Anybody that sees my jokes that I put in the fucking comments, you might fucking get the clue. But he's functionally autistic. He's 28-year-old. He did his A-levels, right? Then he went and did a master's degree in, let's get this right, chemistry.
Good evening, Sasha. Welcome.
He did a BSc in chemistry. He did an extra 2 years doing his MSc in biochemistry. And at 28 years old, he's not got any profligacies. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't drink. He doesn't fucking smoke like me or drink like I do with my own brew, right? He's not got any fast cars. He's not got any addictions or anything. He's 28-year-old. He's saddled with the best part of £80,000 worth of debt that he will have to pay off at something like 7% because he's got a decent degree, science, engineering, technology, medicine, that sort of degree. He's 28-year-old and he can't afford to fucking save up for his own house.
Yeah. Well, I was always one of these. As I said earlier with Tina, I was always a manual worker. And I've never gone out and learned anything and got the paperwork for where that bit of paperwork will not help me do the job I'm doing. A bit of paper can't lay bricks. A bit of paper can't cut down trees. And that's why I've never had a computer before. It can't cut grass and it can't gut fish. I've never needed one. So I never bothered having one. Never bothered learning how to use one. I've admitted now, and Heather will tell you, I was an absolute big technophobe. I wouldn't go near anything technical like this. But it got to a point where I realised that it's the only way that you're going to get through life in the future. If you're not online, your life is going to come to a standstill.
Well, I've had a host of failed relationships with no kids. The wife was in the same position. We met and got married very later on in life, and then she got the baby rabies. You know what I mean? TikTok, 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 TikTok. She got polycystic ovaries. She can't conceive by usual methods. You know, she'd be saying to me, "I don't want you to be working out late tonight. Be home on time, standing to attention, trousers down, if you know what I mean." It didn't work. She was diagnosed with polycystic ovaries, so we had to go on the IVF treatment, in vitro fertilization. Now, in where we live, you get 2 free goes on the NHS. So basically, they harvest her eggs and then have to go into a room and watch porn. I'm not joking. But the NHS are very responsible because of this porn that they give you. So what you're providing a sample, sterile petri dish and everything. All the actors are wearing condoms. I thought, I'm in a fucking fertility clinic and all the porn actors are wearing condoms. Doesn't that somewhat sort of different? Anyway, you pop into it and you pass it through a window and they get the microscope out and they're all swimming around in circles. Most of them are swimming around in circles. Some of them are dead, but a few of them are alive. So what they do is they get out and a big turkey baster misses it up, legs at fucking 2:10, like, you know what I mean? They get the turkey baster and they go, woof, bang it up her. Now, the first time they selected 2 of them and they both failed. The second time they selected 2 of them and they both failed. So we got our free goes on, and after that, you'd have to pay for it. But fortunately, she's got a friend who works in the city of London, an Italian lass, paid for our third go, and we've now got a 9-year-old lad. Once again, she had 2 of them put in. One of them died, but we've got a little 9-year-old lad now. And if I had to give him any fucking advice going forward in life, I would say this: never get a job that can be exported overseas. For one, never get a job that can be done by artificial intelligence, but get a job that involves some personal responsibility and some degree of freedom. Because at the end of the day, all your chances in life, because the country has been asset stripped, we don't even fucking make anything. If you look at Thames Water, right, I'm a plumber, okay, look at Thames Water, they've gone bankrupt for dumping out raw sewage. It's cheaper to pay the fucking bills, the fines, than it is to invest in actually filtering out and processing the raw sewage. They've gone bust. So now the government has had to step in and take over. Who pays the government? Where's the government get its money from? Now, we look at Thames Water. Who are the share owners? The share owners at Thames Water are predominantly Middle Eastern businessmen and Chinese business interests. So when they've taken all the money, they've asset stripped everything, they've moved all the money overseas, and at the end of the day, the government has to step in with our money, yours and everybody else that pays tax. We're more highly taxed now as a nation when we were in 1954 when it came out of fucking rationing. In 1954, the war might have ended in 45, but in 1954 was when ration ended. We're more heavily taxed by a nation. So basically, if I was to have to give a young person an advice, that's it. Don't do a job that can be sent overseas. Don't do a job that can be done by a robot. Do a job that accepts some responsibility. Go in on the trades, on the tools. Take a shitty fucking job for little money, and then qualify as a plumber or a sparky or something like that. But because at the end of the day, my nephew's 28-year-old, 80,000 pounds worth of fucking debt, and he can't afford his own fucking house.
Well,
Here ended the sermon. I've got one little tip as well. I've got another little tip. Anybody that's predilections towards smoking, one of the best relationships you can form in life is with a gay fucking gay bloke that works on the planes, goes to the gym and doesn't smoke, because that has saved. That
if we're doing product placement.
Yeah. Find a gay man who works in for British Airways, or a woman in a frock or something. Have you seen the British Airways? They're fucking woke, aren't they, as fuck? If he doesn't smoke, get in with him. You might have to give him a blowjob. You know, sometimes you've got to get down. You've got to take the knee occasionally. But basically, best relationship in life, if you're an addict like me, somebody that's clean, doesn't smoke, get them to import something tax-free. But, you know, I mean, we all do it, don't we? We all cut corners, for fuck's sake. Technically, it's illegal, but I don't give a shit. We've gone on record of doing it. Come and get me, you cunts. Here ends the sermon.
No worries, mate. Yeah, James, with the work experience and that, and they train their own. Yes, they do. Now, I used to get a lot of my jobs, not so much up country, up this way, but down west. Many, many times I used to just walk on a building site and just ask. This was before the days when you had to wear bloody hard hats and shit. Walk on and say, do you need a worker? Do you need a labourer? Do you need a trowel? You know, whatever. And I used to say, well, give me a day's work. If you think I've done a good day, you pay me. If you think I'm worth taking on, you take me on. If you don't want to, then please tell me and I'll walk away and leave you alone. And I got many a job like that. But working on a building site back then was 1,000% different to what it is now. You wouldn't be able to do that now.
My brother getting on the self-build schemes. I can't tell you who my brother worked for, but it was a company which was very closely related with the Ministry of Defence, based in Chelmsford. Do research, fill in the blanks. And he hated it working down there because back in the 1980s, 1982, I think he was when he was down there. Even then he found it difficult to actually keep a roof over his head, living in rented accommodation, and he's technically skilled. He was working on things that. I was going to Richard Vob's territory now to actually use the right language. He was working on things that actually guided things that fly through the air to meet something else and destroy it. And it was a complicated sequence of electronical things, and he couldn't afford to do that. So he came back up north, right, and he went on the self-build schemes. He wasn't actually qualified as a sparky, but he knew how to design circuit boards and circuitry that makes things shoot the other things out of the sky, launched from either land or sea. So he came and he worked on the self.
Remember when they used to have the cards on the wall? When you used to pick the card off the wall and then go and sit down. Sorry, love.
But he went on self-build schemes in 1982, and he formed his own company. He's always worked a bit like me.
Yeah.
It was crawling underneath floors, buggering about in attics, running pipework when he was like 12, 13, 14-year-old. And then he went and did his qualifications and signed the Official Secrets Act and all that sort of shit. But he hated it. He hated working down in Chelmsford. There's no fucking draw that, you know, company based in Salford. Sorry, I'm rambling. I'll have a drink of beer. Hang on, excuse me. So he came up, and him and 23 other guys, they formed the Self-Build Association. They formed their own company. They listed it on Companies House, and they built 24 houses. And he lived in a house which was 4-bedroom, 2 bathrooms, double garage, semi-detached, decent-sized gardens. And he built it in 1984, and he was working in a textile mill, one of the last Lancashire textile mills that were working, putting job working at evenings and weekends. And it was our old boss. He's dead now. He's been dead a long time. He said, "Why don't you come in on this self?" But he says, "I'm not a sparky. I'm not qualified in trades." And my old boss said, "Well, you've done plumbing for me. You can run pipe working, this and the other, and you know how to design these things, electronically guided things that shoot other things out of the sky and shit like that." He says, "So I'm pretty certain you can do some cable pulls and shit like that. Why don't you actually become the manager of the company and do all the buying in of all the goods and everything, and any trades that have to be subcontracted to brickers or anything like that, you pay them, blah blah blah." So he went on the scheme. Cut a long story short, in 1984 he built an house for £38,500, and he sold it 2 years later for £95,000, and then it was tax free, because if you actually build your own house, it's not seen as a capital gain. You're building your own house, but they've closed them all down.
The last project I worked on, it was for a mate of mine down in Cornwall, who was an investor, but he wasn't a big one. We built 5 houses for him, all 2-bedroomed or better. Most were 3, and 1 luxury one. And I said, "Well, why have you built the luxury one?" He said, "Well, that out of those 5 houses, basically 1 ends up a freebie or profit." He said, "So the luxury one," he said, "is what's going to be actually bought out of the profit. It pays for itself." And he said, "And that is fucking mine."
Yeah.
Crafts, yes. 9 times out of 10, the advisor you took the card to knew the person that was looking for somebody, because they'd spoke to them personally and seen what sort of person they want. And they would either arrange an interview for you there and then that day to go straight round, or at the earliest convenience. And it used to be the employer that saw you, not a bloody agency, which is one of the biggest problems today.
You look at the NHS, mate. One of my mates is
well, it's just been exposed in the care homes, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, one of my mates is a senior cardiologist, is a heart specialist, right? And his missus is a senior triage nurse, as a hospital somewhere in South Yorkshire, at the risk of doxing her, but it's not far from where I live. And she actually makes more money actually working now for the NHS, but she's actually subcontracted now through what do they call it? A private company that rents out people to the NHS. She doesn't have half the stress that she used to have, but this private company are charging more for triage nurses in A&E departments.
Yeah, they're not paying the nurses the higher wages, though. They're not.
No, they're not, because basically we've got this public-private finance initiative that was brought in by Tony fucking Blair.
Well,
so basically, even the NHS is being privatised. Manchester City Football Club's owned by a fucking Arab and Chinese.
Well,
Thames Water is owned by foreigners.
This week, isn't it? With the staff in the care homes. Now, the agency, the government opened up work visas for qualified care home staff in Europe. So they had to come over, but could only work with a sponsor and work for that sponsor while they were here. So what the agencies were doing was register them as sponsoring these people, but there was no actual jobs for them here. And the people they were putting in jobs, they were paying absolute peanuts. And apparently some of these now have been going out and looking for work privately, knocking on doors. I've seen a few, what shall I call them? Fucking reports, so say on that, which of course is breaking the terms of their visa. But this is what is happening, that more and more agencies are getting involved. A lot of truck driving now is more or less agency. A lot of the NHS is more or less agency. A lot of the care home is agency. And believe it or not, a lot of the council staff are agency, the manual workers. And this is where the employment problem in this country is fucked. there is no direct contact between employee and employer. Everything goes through an agency.
Yeah.
You off,
Everything's been-
Sean? Sorry,
every-
darling, I wasn't keeping up with the chat. I'm going to be finishing shortly anyway. My eyes are starting to blur. But take care, sweetheart. It will be the normal Friday afternoon stream next week by
And
hook
Dan
or
will be
crook.
back.
And hopefully Dan will be back in his rightful place on a Sunday night.
I don't know
So-
what's going on with regard to YouTube, but the resolution on the cameras is crap compared with StreamYard's.
Yeah, I've had this problem for a while. I've got them all set to 720. StreamYard is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, but
my
it's streaming
camera-
through the same camera, your end and my end, but the resolution on YouTube is shit. StreamYard's is fucking perfect.
You can go into the settings and change the resolution.
You,
It defaults to something like 140.
720. 420. Sorry.
No, YouTube defaults to something stupid like 140.
Hmm.
It's crap.
I mean, this is a HD camera. This one's always set 1080, 720 at the lowest setting. And as you say, StreamYard is beautifully clear. I can see it clear without my glasses, but YouTube, not a chance.
Roger, here's another thing. I emailed you some spicy memes. Did you get
Yeah,
them?
I see them. Yeah.
Did you see with the one with the swinging watch and
Yeah. You had seen some of the ones I got in my files, mate. Believe me, I'd never be able to put them on here or anywhere else.
yeah, the current thing memes.
Well, I've also I've actually learned now that I can do some myself with my newfound skills in the editing suite and that. So I'm working on some of them.
Oh, I'm used to that sort of stuff.
Thank you.
Absolutely useless.
Roger.
I couldn't even get back into Discord, but if they're nuking Discord channels because of their opinions, then there's no fucking point, is there?
Yes, James. That is exactly what I said, mate. Serco get the contract from not just Serco, others as well, G4S, and a few more smaller companies. The Home Office award them the contracts. They pay them millions and millions of pounds, and then Serco go out and get the hotels, sack all the staff, put their own staff in, put the security on, and then put the immigrants in there. Now, they're saying in all the press releases it's costing up to £10 million a day to keep them in the hotels. That isn't strictly true. It's not keeping it real time, that amount. A lot of it has been paid to these companies in advance, and they're the ones that do the ordering the food for the residents, shall I say, and stuff like that. The only thing that the government actually pay out in real time is what benefits they got. And I believe the barge is under government control. It isn't under a company. I might be wrong on that. If Bulldog's in here, he might know a bit more on that. But to be honest, the easiest way to find out any answers to what's going on around it is Yorkshire Rose and her group and the English Patriots. If you get in touch with them, they're on YouTube, they're on Facebook. They hold a lot of information. The little bits that I put out, I get from them, particularly about what's going on at the moment with Scampton and what have you. But again, I don't dwell on those subjects too often in my videos, simply because I try to cover a lot of things rather than just focus on the one. Like Dan's channel, yeah, everybody knows he focuses on the police and corruption in other areas as well, where I'm more general. I'm not that focused on it. But yeah, there are, like I've always said, that there's a list out there of hotels to avoid in the future. I still haven't quite found out who's got that yet, but
I'll tell you a hotel to avoid: Faulty Towers.
yeah.
Oh, the fucking manager's an idiot.
Well, the movement is now is a lot of the hotels are going to be starting to hand it back to the owners. They're because of the public kickoff about it and all the backlash and everything out. They're moving them out the hotels. There's supposed to be, I think it's 50 hotels by January that they're actually going to empty. Now, they're not going anywhere, most of them. They will be moved into private accommodation. Paid for by the councils, no doubt, on benefits and shit. But those hotels are being handed back to the owners. Now, quite what was in the contracts and how they're going to get out of them, they probably have a clause in there somewhere. But most of these hotels were put on a 6-year contract.
Good grief.
Now, they've only been operating for a year, but they've been paid for 6 years. Or agreements are in place. However they work it, I don't know. I don't do finance, small or big, as it happens. But yeah, there is a lot of misinformation out there about it all. Most of it comes from the government, obviously. And I say misinformation. Not all of it is misinformation. A lot of it is malinformation. They're telling you the truth, but they're twisting it in their narrative, as it were. I see them doing that quite a lot. But guys, I'm going to give it another 10 minutes. Not because my StreamYard will run out, because they won't cut the stream. Basically, what they do, if you go over your allotted 20 hours, they just take off whatever you've run over off the next lot. It's the fact that I am actually feeling quite tired now. In fact, that I've just... the lovely Mrs. W has just made a coffee to keep me going for another 10 minutes.
I've got about another couple of bottles of homebrew, and then I've got a shitload of fucking work I need to catch up on, because the last few weeks I've just been terminally depressed and I just can't be asked going out to work. I've got everything stacking up. I think I've finally got my mojo back.
Heather's just put in the chat there that she's actually gone in and changed her viewing settings on YouTube.
When you go into if you click on the settings cogwheel on a computer or top right hand corner on the phone, if you go into there, you've got quality. On the computer went to 360 and the phone to 480, but you can go into advanced settings and change it, and it runs more than happily on 720, and you click that clears up the image, automatically defaults to a low resolution, and I don't know why.
There you go. Whether that actually, if we check on that Friday, because now I had a hell of a job removing them hearts earlier, because
it's not your what I'm saying is, love, it's not your resolution.
No, it's the receiver, it's the watcher.
Yeah, and YouTube automatically puts it low when you're watching.
Yeah, it defaults to 360
or 480.
Yeah.
Paulie Spaghetti's just said something about Rishi Sunak, what he's involved in financially with regards to Serco. I think it's Sir Nicholas Winton, who is the grandson of Winston Churchill, is one of the biggest people at all in Serco.
Wishy-Washy's father has got his fingers in them pies, and it's not just Serco. There is another one, I believe. Don't take it as Jen. This isn't fact checkers that are watching there from YouTube. Go fuck yourselves.
Nicholas Solms, thank you.
I believe he's got his fingers in another one of the companies as well. Like I say, but you'll find a lot of these people also have got their fingers in the pies of the companies that own the hotels originally. You know, you got to think there's some big companies involved, the Holiday Inns, places like that. That, you know, they're not all the little backstreet ones or holiday town ones.
Was it Yorkshire Rose or somebody? I don't know. I don't follow all these auditing channels because I've got better things to do with my time most of the time. I think it was Yorkshire Rose. She actually did something on Catcliffe Holiday Inn, which
Yes.
is in Rotherham.
Yes, she did. Well, what they're doing, they're now looking at the hotels that have been reported as going to be used. What they do is the same as they've done all along. They're going to these hotels to see if there's any work being done. If there's any ex-staff milling around, they're trying to chat with the staff. But straight away, it's easy to tell because you walk up to the gate and straight away you're confronted by security. As soon as that happens, you can guarantee if there ain't any in there, they're going to be. The easiest way to tell. And most of the security that they're putting on are the immigrants themselves. They're putting them through the SIA. And now they're passing because I've done it years ago. And with their command of the English language and laws, they never pass. So I reckon they're block booking them and block passing them. They probably got a license to test them themselves or something stupid. I wouldn't know because I gave up my SIA license years ago.
I've just asked somebody still in the chat whether he's fallen asleep or eyes glazed over and not logged out. Gary Hart, you Sheffield. Hello, Gary. If you need a plumber, mates rates, get in contact with me. The only safe way you can actually contact me is through Twitter. I'm as low for Sheffield on Twitter. You can DM me through there.
Twitter ain't safe. What's up with you, man? Come on.
Yeah, well, if it's safe or not, it means other people can't jump in and fucking piss you about or bugger you about. There's nothing safe. There's nothing safe in this day and age. This online safety bill, it was all about protecting children. I've said it before. The first line of defense of protecting children when it comes to online, what they're getting up to is the parents. If the parents are not willing to take responsibility for what the children get up to online, then the parents aren't doing their fucking job. It's not the government's job to fucking decide what parents should be doing.
No. We weren't there. They're building their own standard. Now, I saw a video. It was last year. And it's one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. Now, Tyrant Finder, most of you know who he is, Chris. He went to a hotel and he said, now we know security's here, but watch this. And there's two of these little immigrants. They were dressed like mini men in black. with the black suit slightly too small, the tie undone. And they actually walked up to him at the gate, holding hands, and stood there having a conversation, holding hands. Tyrant he just took the piss. I wish I could remember what the video was called now, otherwise I'd say go and watch it, but it is piss funny. And he was following them about and giving them shit. But it was obvious they couldn't even speak the English language properly. Well, I can't with my teeth not glued in. But yeah, I mean, before I shut down, we've seen it happening. I've been saying it for the last few weeks that I think we have gone off the edge of that cliff we were back up against. And especially looking at what the government and the police have let happen in London now and many other cities around the country, although not on the same scale. That's what we're facing now. We might not be the minority in the country, but we will end up the worst off.
I think this globalization has really screwed everybody over, hasn't it?
Yes.
You look at the ashes of civilization. You look how industrial America used to be dominant. Cleveland, making motor vehicles and stuff.
But this is what I said. It's not
everything. It's globalization has really fucking cut the bottom 30% of the income distribution out of the fucking equation. And these politicians, they don't really represent. Labour certainly do not represent the working class anymore.
I mean, most people concentrate on what's happening here because most of what's happening here is what you see in mainstream media. Now, all what we're going through has been happening all over the world. Now, other countries are fighting back. you've got the EU now still trying to bleat on about the immigrants. Most EU countries have turned against their directive and are stopping them coming. Now, one that is making a big U-turn very soon because someone is going to be, let's say, not in the job anymore, and that is Canada.
Oh, for fuck's
Now,
sake.
I've watched Canada from a while back to what was going up from back before the truckers and what have you. And I've had one of my subscribers who was feeding me information, shall I say, from the trucker protest on what was going on. And at the time, I was covering it at least twice a week, keeping people up to date. Now, all the stuff that Trudeau brought in, a lot of it is now being proved it was illegal. The government itself is being sued left, right, and centre. Trudeau's being exposed about all sorts of things, and he's on his way out. But over here, on the mainstream media, we haven't heard a thing about that.
No.
The fact that he was shunned at all the big meetings by all the other countries, even in the EU. He walked up to people and was going to shake their hands, and they turned around and walked away from him. Good night, Paul. Sorry, dropped in late, mate. The last couple of weeks, it's only standing in, as the description says. So some of the PAP regulars that like to have a chat with each other. I'm just providing somewhere for them to come and chat and be a boring old bastard up here just chatting shit.
One of the strangest red pills I ever saw was with G20 meeting, and Justin Trudeau went up to shake Deng Xiaoping, whatever, current leader of the Chinese Communist Party. There was a G20 meeting. He went over to shake his hand, and he wouldn't shake his hand, and he wagged his finger at Justin Trudeau, and he wagged his hand, and Justin Trudeau walked off. And if that does not give you the chills, I don't know what does.
Yep. Even what's his name? Oh, the French idiot. Well,
Macron, yeah, he's another
Canada,
one.
French-speaking country as well as English, and he just like, fuck off. I ain't interested in you, mate. You know you're an idiot. But righto, guys, that's just gone 11 o'clock. I did say at the beginning I probably won't go on much past 10, so I've done it again. Lied. But yeah, exactly, Beardy. That they actually told him he wasn't welcome, and they told him in no uncertain terms, didn't they? I watched that live, and I fucking loved every second of it.
The truckers movement, he said they were all racist. It said they were all fascist. It said they were all that. So
mate.
you got blokes in turbans. You got blokes in turbans there with big beards, obviously Sikhs. So they're all racists. You've got people there from every nationality, and they were just really a lot of pissed off people. A bit like what's been happening with the farmers' movement in Holland recently.
If you look at it, every person in the world can be racist. There is only one, shall I say, creed that can actually seem to be prosecuted for it.
Yeah. White, cisgendered, heteronormative, working class people. We are the lowest of the low.
Yep.
I tell you what, Roger, I'm gonna go to eBay. I'm gonna buy a wig, and I'll steal the wife's lippy, and I'll put a frock on, and next live stream we do on Pap Stream, I'll come on, and you can all call me Loretta. And then I'll be.
Can you post a link to your OnlyFans?
I'll be safe then. I'll be safe. They can't come for me. But basically, at the end of the day, they'll come for everybody. It doesn't matter.
Oh, they will. They will. Right. On that cheerful note, people, I will bid you all good night. Thank you for dropping in. I've tried to interact with the chat a bit more this week. Obviously, I don't have a big panel, but there are things that we don't talk about in here that Pat will talk about. It's not that I don't allow it. It's just that I try to run a bit of a more relaxed stream. That's just me, and that's probably why I don't get as many viewings as Pat. Doesn't bother me. I do what I do, and
The people that
people are here because they want to be.
Exactly.
Look, at the end of the day, it's the quality, not the quantity.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know, I'm not as technical minded as Dan. Yes, I can bring things up, but not like he does. I haven't got the systems and that for it. Yeah, I do what I can, and I'm learning all the time. So, but thank you all for dropping in. Again, we've had more viewings this week than we got last week, actually, which was very nice. And thank you for those that do watch the videos. The viewings have gone up there quite well, and we've gone over 500 subs tonight. So it's all on the up. I never rely on the analytics. I don't care about them, but I do watch them. I'll put it that way.
Roger, here's a dare for you. Select that current thing meme.
Thank you, Moo.
And use that as the as whatever you call it. The next time you do your Rogers rants thing, use the current thing meme, and let's see what happens. I'm just curious because there's this strange thing about the selectivity of social media, how we're all being sanctioned to believe certain things. Here's a little. Anybody's in the chat now, just about to go to bed. It's only gone 11 o'clock. I'm going to be up for a couple of hours. But if you've got Google as a search engine, type in pictures straight white males. Straight white males. Type that into a Google search. You'll get some right buff alpha males with muscles like me. You know what I mean? I don't have to put 1 foot of my fucking 22mm former on the floor to bend copper pipe. I can bend it in my butt. Look at that. Ooh, yeah. Right. Straight white males. Put that into a Google picture search and you'll get some alpha males coming up. Then you get a couple of black guys embracing and kissing each other. So it's a propaganda war at the end of the day. We're all being lied to. And on that note, here ends the sermon.
Pardon me. Sorry, hang on.
Thank you, Loretta.
I have trouble typing, and I'm just trying to close down. Yeah. With that, people, thank you so much. Hopefully, as I just put in there, normal service will be resumed with Pat next week. It's been an absolute pleasure standing in for him. It really has. And Dan, I know you'll probably watch this back tomorrow, and I know you'll be asleep at the moment. But thank you for the opportunity for doing it, really. I mean, I wouldn't have done it unless you'd have mentioned it. So thank you, everybody. And hopefully I'll see you all in the week in the chat and next Friday on the live. But as always, before I turn down, stay safe, stay strong, and stay absolutely free. Be safe out there, people. All right.